Wrong one. Welcome. Just, I'll get there in a second. I'll get to the parish notes and to stuff. Hopefully you can. Yeah, I think that's okay. I'll do that tomorrow. Trying to work out. Have you noticed how many Chinese spies there are in this country? Seemingly, British dad spying for China. Look me sideways. Those bloody Chinese, they get everywhere. WEF and everywhere. Toronto and everywhere. Except China. Right. Hello. Evening. Welcome. It's me, David. Andy Turner says, oh, look, man, I'm getting bored with the coverage of the story about the cull of the ITV morning programme. Just proves that ITV is dying. This will not help the TV licence payer. ITV's commercial, isn't it? So it won't cost us. Andy continues, as if the advertising are cutting back on paying, they will not give money to the BBC. Well, advertisers do, actually, so does the licence payer. But it goes into a central fund, and then, the government says to the BBC, here, how much do you want? All of it. Well, you can't have all of it, just some of it. All of it. Feed me, Seymour. And that's the BBC for you. Greedy feckers. So I can't see in the near future going subscription. That's the BBC. Obvs. Well, Netflix. It should be. That's how it should be. You should make your decision based on whether you like what they're doing or not. And that means paying your subscription or not. Not being forced with a threat of jail for your license fee. That is legalised extortion. Don't you agree? Wouldn't you agree? Put it in the comments if you want, because that's what I'm going through. Thank you, Andy. I think it will go on tax and everybody will pay it if you watch it or not. That's the current state of affairs, Andy. Don't think it should go any further. They will have more money than they can handle and you have no say. I know, it's legalised extortion. It's a tax. It's got nothing to do with creativity. It's got nothing to do with, putting out good programmes. Prima facie evidence for the prosecution, Your Honour. Doctor Who. The woke fest it is, Doctor Who. We'll talk about that later. And he continues, not a lot on the J story. Only he had some recreational gear in his system. No shit, Sherlock, according to Andy. And his mates have gone missing, a bit like... no, Andy, I'm not going to repeat that either. And the last thing that made me lick the Fury wallpaper... Oh, I say, did the neighbours see, Andy? You could get arrested. I mean, they could say, oh, there's a bloke there, he's licking his wallpaper. Did anyone read about the care home that called the police over a 92-year-old, not 80, 92-year-old, Andy, in a wheelchair, amputee, and had dementia, waving a knife about? Well, he wasn't waving a... He was waving a knife about, that is technically correct, but it was a butter knife. I mean, I couldn't chop my cock off with a butter knife. I could try, and then I'd get sectioned. And Andy says, oh yeah, just walked in, tears of the old boy, not speak to him, and the officer got off and nothing about the care home or the flip-flop that called them, and then they work out why the public don't like them. Or at very least, one from me. Have you noticed that any fish found in UK waters belongs to the EU? Yeah, Starmer sold it. But any people found suddenly in our waters belong to the EU. Do you know there's over 1,000 of them? 1,000 dinghy divers yesterday came into this country. Well, they're not holding back now, are they? Seemingly, the water was so calm yesterday that they could literally swim across. They don't need a dinghy, they can swim across. But it's not going to be very nice from Tuesday, Wednesday. We're all going to get rain, obviously. It's pretty summertime, so the rain's going to start for the rest of the year. But those immigrants They're still coming across 1,000 a day when they can, if not more. I saw a figure somewhere of over 1,300. Now, don't take it as gospel from me, but 1,300 immigrants in one day. How weird, man. What's Sir Keir Starmer saying? I'm going to bash somebody's back doors in. Sorry, I'm going to bash the boats. I'm going to stop the boats. I'm going to bash the gangs. I'm going to... Really? How long have you got, Sir Keir? I thought you were working as an uncivil servant for the public. Well, it's all interpretation, I suppose. Paulie Galtieri says, good evening, Adrian, you utter wrong'un. Hope you've had a good weekend. Yeah, it's been, yeah. We are going to talk about some interesting stuff. Are you aware there's been another car crash where a driver has mowed down some people? Didn't think you did. I wonder why that is, Adrian. Well, I'm confused. Well, we'll talk about it later if I can remember where my notes are. We will just, we're going to talk Rent Man versus Rent Boys. I mean, it's just a couple of years. We're going to, where is it? Have I written it down? Yeah, I must have done. Going to talk about, do you know what, our rock stars? Our rock stars. I mean, I prefer kind of hard-living rock stars. Proper, like Led Zeppelin rock stars. I mean, I know the Beatles were sort of mop tops and the Fab Four and seen as quaint and gentle, but those boys partied. Those boys knew how to party back in the day. Take a boy out of Liverpool. Sorry, you can take the boy out of Liverpool. Hang on a second, what's going on here? I swear to God. There's ghosts in the machine. Let me just check. Where are we? What the bloody hell's going on there? Oh, yes. So we are going to talk about something that you're not going to believe. And I know that you come here, and to the to everyone watching now, go on, smash the likes before you come in. Yeah, utter wrong-uns. Tough audience. But I did try to print something on my printer, which is just to my left, Your Honour. And it was like, oh, how do we end shite, man? I'm not, no. So I thought, all right, I'll leave it. I'll just use the printer. And the printer has just sprung into life, and I've no idea why. Shouldn't have done. Ghosts in the machine. So we'll get to some more of your comments. Welcome to Paulie Galtieri. Welcome, Les Griffiths. An Englishman's home was once his castle. Today, his country is no longer his own, and we meekly accept it. Well, you know, that's queer as folk, Starmer. You know, he's him and Lord Ali. I'm sure. Has he got a free key to number 10? Lord Ali, not Sir Keir Starmer. Yeah. Can good men remain decent? An indecent world run by evil creatures sooner or later. A stand will have to be made. Oh, a change is going to come, to quote one Jewish troubadour from America. Les Griffiths. Oh, you've deleted that one, you're wrong. You heard it here first, says Les Griffiths. Macron's wife is to fight Jake Paul. The contract states that she must let Paul win. She will put up a better show than Tyson, that's for sure. Ask Emile, le husband. Sorry, I missed that one. God blimey, I'm too busy reading that. But ask the husband. He's taking a right battering. That's for the fish. Battered fish. Neil Cunningham says, hang on a second, let me just have a look at this. I'm hoping I'm not pressing that. Thank you, Andy. Yes, we are going to talk about that, Andy. It is, yeah, how do I get rid of that? Oh, bugger. Right, let's do that. Come on. Oh, away, man. Right. We'll get back in a moment. If you say, okay. Cool, blimey, you're all in early tonight. What's going on here? Is it now on the telly or something? Oh, is that the Reverend David Beckham? Oh, Bovril, we're doing Beckham Watch tonight. We are. It's me, David. We're doing Beckham Watch this evening. Where's Sandra? Sandra Whittam. Hello, Adrian. Hello, Sandra. I want to say to Sandra, because I still feel a little bit guilty about winning last weekend. Honestly, I think about you every day, Sandra, because I've been where you are, and I don't mean this condescendingly or in any disrespect, but I saw someone trip off their tongue why your current manager is a great manager. And do you know what? I completely agree. There'll always be the moaners. There'll always be the ne'er-do-wells. But I do believe that another season in the Championship will stop you from being a yo-yo, as it did us in the First Division. Hang on, where are we? Yeah. Premiership, Championship, First Division. Because I'm old enough to remember the old First Division, which is now the Premiership. But I do believe that another season with this manager at the helm of Sheffield United, you will be back in the Premiership next year. But it's getting to a point where the sort of maybe 5 or 6 teams at the top of the Championship that could be promoted, Sheffield United being one, and the 3 coming down, Southampton, Leicester and Ipswich. No, Ipswich is a bit shite, to be fair. And it's got Jack Clark, who went for the money to Ipswich from Sunderland, and we just stand there saying, let's all laugh at Jack Clark. Not Ipswich, Jack Clark, because we're in the Premiership. He's not. So, Sandra, I do think about you every day, and I do believe that the Blades are going to onwards and upwards this season, and I'll back you all the way. Hang on, what's Des says? Amalia, good to see you in early. Des. Phil, racing driver. Hello. And Kathy Harper says, good evening, all. Good evening, Kathy. Well, everyone's getting their feet under the table. Smash the likes if you wouldn't mind, because we've got quite a good audience this evening. Hang on a second. Les says they are talking about putting the licence fee on the council tax. Oh, no. What do you do? What do the government do? And what do the politicians do if they're not able to control anything and the electorate have seen through their bullshitery? They just move it sideways. It's like anybody in the police. If you gub up in the police, you just get promoted. So Les, thank you for that. The All Bottle says the BBC should be on prescription only, for they can be bad for your health. I mean, look, I'll nail my colours firmly to the flagpost. There are I have friends within BBC. There's some wonderful talent within BBC that I've known for donkey's years. I love them, love them, love them. They are truly creative people and wonderfully listenable and viewable people. My friends, because I choose my what's the old Arabic saying, any man with more friends than fingers on one hand is a fool. And I have few friends. I choose them carefully and I choose them wisely. So how can I say this? So there's there are wonderfully creative people within the BBC, but it seems to be that the kind of high Hegians, the upper echelon, the people that are being paid proper bunts, they're, I don't know. I mean, it's, decisions by committee. Just leave the talented to get on with being the talented, and just leave everybody that's doing it by committee to do it by committee, like Doctor Who. Oi, 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 oi. So, Samurai Cop, good to see you again, Samurai Cop. Welcome to the body of the Kirk. He says, good evening, Rev. Well-deserved night off. Looking forward to the sermon. Oh, thank you, Samurai Cop. And to Rich, BBC are good, but the organisation has become bloated and very woke. Do you know, in a sentence, Rich, you've probably encapsulated how I feel. There's some wonderful stuff in the BBC. I just wish Mobland had been on the BBC so I could watch it in a wanna. Sandra Whittam says, what do you think to what's going off at Wednesday for the 3rd time this season? Chairman not paying the players or staff for May? I think there's lots of that going on. I am aware of other football clubs, Sandra, that are barely paying their players. But, how can I be fair? How can I be measured and appropriate and proportionate? I think football is succumbing to the sordid greenback, the money, the moolah, the bunts, the pounds. I think it's as Brian Clough says, if God had wanted us to play football in the air, he'd have given us wings. So it's that pragmatism. I know that some of the Sunderland players will leave this summer because some of the academy players are barely getting 1,500 quid a week. $6,000 a month, 70 odd grand a year. Better than kicking the nuts. But do you know, if there's money to be made elsewhere, like Jack Clark, although I do take the mickey, or what was the ginge that went to Newcastle? Callback. Look, their time is short. They're not going to have. They're barely going to have 20 years as a footballer, if that, and then they've got the rest of their lives to deal with the ailments that football brings. So give them the just reward. But I get it. If the owner is not paying them, then why isn't the FA stepping in? I'm sure they've got a fund somewhere that'll back up football clubs that haven't got the money and can't pay the players. But the owners should put into that. It's a bit like ABTA, the Associated blah, 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 blah. Should be like that. If you're going to run a footy club, then cough up, not cough, but cough up. And if anything happens with a football club, then the money is already there to pay the players, say, for 6 months. Stephen Hall says, oh, ATVs, just as woke. Oh, I know. Go woke, go broke, Stephen. Andrew says, I'm 39 and never had a TV licence, to be honest, and I don't even watch the stuff on BBC these days. It's just gotten worse. My mum and dad used to sit back in the day. Back in the day, it's been ages since the BBC's been any good. I kind of agree. I mean, my personal viewing is online now, and the generations coming through is all online. So, it will be people. Hang on a second. It'll be interesting to see which political party gets in and then decides how they're going to deal with the BBC. But that's another conversation for another night. So, beginning. This is live number 181. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the body of the Kirk. Make sure that you can get in. Make sure that there is free Battenberg at the front. It can be passed around in the, normally the trays for the collection. But because we don't really use a collection bowl, you can have your Battenberg in there. Big, thick slices, doorsteps. And the altar wine, you can take it out into the... Look, we've the choir boys... as is ever with the this young generation, they've put up some speakers so you can off out to the back in the beer garden, and you can just enjoy this summer evening and the wind. So you can enjoy that in the beer garden while listening to the sermon. Yeah, Rollins. As if the pews weren't uncomfortable enough. Bring your piles cushion with you next time. Des Ashton says, was that not Henry VIII strategy? Axe loose women. Very good, Des. Nicky Watson, evening, Adrian, and all in the body of the Kirk. Paulie Galtieri says, I'm watching reruns of Jack Hargreaves. Oh, I say. Out of town to see England, how it used to be. Wasn't Jack Hargreaves on, was it Pebble Mill at 1? Now, I was a kid, I was a little one, but I've got quite a retentive memory. Alan says, save me some cake, you wrong uns. Jack Hargreaves was proper Yorkshire. Can you remember Indoor League with Freddie, turn me arm over, yes. So Indoor League and Jack Hargreaves with his pipe talking about bloody steam trains and everything, and The Last King. Wonderful. Loved Jack Hargreaves when I was a kid, says Stephen Hall. Evening, Rev, and all. I'm not too late. Ian McGee, blimey, we've been going half an hour. Jokes. By the way, so tomorrow night there's another live 7:30. I am looking at the feasibility, or either that or running myself into the ground. I'm looking at another live tomorrow night, and we're going to have 4 consecutive nights of stuff. So the next live is, we're going to do 7:30 on a Monday night. The next Simon is 7:30 tomorrow night, Monday evening. So welcome to live number 181. We're going to get into it. Jack used to smoke a pipe, yes, but the question was, Stephen, what was in that pipe? Would he have been a vapor? We're going to talk about that in just a little while. 2 Gets in the Car. Jack Hargreaves was on the children's programme. How? With Fred Dinage. Who was the... you see, it was evenly split. It was either Fred Dinage and Jack Hargreaves. How? Who was the woman on How? Because didn't they have that Fox on Saturday morning telly on ITV? Sally... Long leather boots. Sally... Cuban Pete, bong, more like it. I think they were at News at 10. Cuban Pete, all those bongs. How that was as great as a kid. Fred Dinage, Bunty James. I mean, how middle class can one get calling your daughter Bunty? I'm sure she did frequently. So Sally James. See, you're either a commercial, but well, no, How was made by Southern TV, so it's still commercial. Well, one takes it where one can get it at 5 and 6 year old. That's in entertaining TV. Now again, it's CBeebies, which I've not any experience of at all, unlike Jimmy Savile. Banty James was Banty James, knee gun, and so ITV had a gun. Mustang Sally. Hail the Sally James. You see, all the boys, Sally got them through puberty. That was, well, we'll leave it there, shall we? Ow. Sally in tight leather. Rich man, stop it. I've got to concentrate here. I've got serious stuff to talk about. How the bloody hell am I going to get through the next 2 hours? Susan Stranks did paper play with Itsy and Bitsy. Susan Stranks, is that a euphemism? Jenny Handley was a stunner. Jenny Handley's daughter. Jimmy Handley's daughter. Hang on, who's Jimmy Handley? Chris M. But Jenny Handley, yes, they got us. Magpie. 1 for sorrow, 2 for joy, 3 for a girl, 4 for a boy, 5 for silver, 6 for gold, 7 for a secret never to be told. Magpie. And who was it? Pew Pew, Barley McGrew, Cuthbert Dibble and Grub. Exactly. It's bloody propaganda, man. I can guarantee I can look at you now and you're going, oh, Adrian, I remember those. Yeah, Pew Pew, Barley McGrew. Mick with a ball and curls and his Rolls Royce Soul Rebel. Susan Stranks on Magpie was always braless. Oi, 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 oi. How the bloody hell am I going to get through this live? Alan, Phantom Flanflinger sorted them all out, but the Phantom Flanflinger was an old work colleague who did breakfast on Century 106 before Femi Oki was his wife, and he moved out to America because Femi got a big network telly job. I think it was Weather, and she got a big network telly job. And this is all, I'm digging this up from the back of here somewhere. Brian Cant, I bet he did. 2 Kids in a Car. Tony Bastable, he was the nice guy, wasn't he? Daphne Wimples. Daphne Wimples? Is that a made up name, Daphne? Baby Bucket Bung and Flanella. Ray Norton, Jesus, man, stop that. Jimmy Handley, actor in loads of black and white films. Ooh. Nepo Baby. Pete Brady, who was a Radio 1 DJ, became a Magpie presenter. Don't remember Pete, Stephen Hall. You've got a better memory than me. Pete Conway, Jenny Handley. Yuck. Windy Miller. Needed some Battenberg. I agree, Tom. My regular, I'm sure there was a Windy Miller in there. Could never identify him, but I would definitely, well, you know. Tony Hart. Oh, I wanted to send a drawing into Tony Hart once, and I just thought, oh man, Adrian, how do we end shite? It's Tony Hart. Les Griffiths. Origami. What a load of shite. That was Sunday morning, wasn't it? The origami. I mean, I'd get up on a Sunday morning thinking, oh, it's too early. I can't sleep. I can't. And I used to sit there with that beardy bloke with a bald head making origami, trying to make it look clever. And I was thinking, and I don't know whether you did, you can tell me in the comments, whether you actually did any origami or it was just like stare at the box. That's the TV before you start making your mucky gags up. Vision on, says Kathy Harper. Oh, you tart. Sorry, not you, Kathy Harper. Vision on. The Clangers, says Cuban Pete. Hang on, we've all been through it here. Hang on, should I rephrase that? Nah, stuff it. Adrian, Neil Cunningham. Hang on. God blimey. Vision on for the really oldie people. That's where Tony Hart was discovered. What was the little plasticine bloke fella called in Vision On, where he got his start? Adrian, can we take a second to remember John Myers? 6 years today since he passed on a golf course, Neil. Chunky Myers. Have you got any Scooby snacks? Yes, of course, we will always remember John Myers, one of the greatest characters from both commercial radio and the BBC, because he went and did an evaluation of the BBC. Well, it need to be more like the commercial world. Of course they did, Chunky Mate. And he got his name because he was like 10 foot tall and as wide. But genuinely had a good heart. Definitely a good heart. So rest in peace, John. We had many funny hours together and meals. especially when it was my grub in the rear. Got any Scooby Snacks? Man, oh, come on. Now, those that know, those that don't, it won't mean an absolute fig to you. But yes, of course, Neil, lovely man, loved him to bits. Hang on, Les, you got 6 months, you're on. Zoko, Veal Bovril, what the bloody hell's that? Are we going back to Muffin the Mule now? I thought you got 6 months for that. Chili and Mr. Ben. Oh, Mr. Ben was quite cool. We like Mr. Ben. I don't know how we've gone down this rabbit hole. I didn't say anything. I didn't mean to. But I am going to ask you this before we get into the real serious stuff. I want to know. I was going to ask you. We can expand this. So we're on question number 1. What was the best children's TV theme? Just treat this like we're in the beer garden. We might go into back into the body of the Kirk and get into the serious stuff, because we have some serious stuff. Like I'm having to work out how to navigate the law. And also, I'm trying to work out who Jean-Paul Boyle is. Tell you about that in just a little while. If you don't know, it's going to make you hairless and put hairs on your chest, even if you're a girl. Run around with Mike Reed. Loved it, says Michelle Gooder. Oh, Michelle. Even yeah, I forgot that. I could always have nicked it. Cambuick Green Fraggle Rock. Hammy Hamster. Oi, Thunderbirds. Oh, go! That has to be. Well, we've got the Grange Hill theme. The theme from Captain Pugwash, Rogering the Cabin Boy. Double Deckers. Oh, fair dues. Double Deckers was pretty good. Aquamarina, Stingray. Anything can happen in the next half hour. And Thunderbirds. Now, as a boy, I had some of the Thunderbirds, those little metal models. But Thunderbirds, what a tune. That, I mean, even to this day, I don't know if the lads will tell me this, or the girls, but even to this day, when the Thunderbirds theme is played anywhere, whether it's on the telly or maybe on the radio or maybe on YouTube or wherever, your chest suddenly comes out and thinking, oh, the Tracy family and Thunderbirds. It just makes you want to be a hero. And do you know something? When I walk about, tell me whether this is true or not, when I walk around and I see electric vehicles driving around, I think of Thunderbirds are go! And the electric vehicles that used to be in like airports and on the road. I mean, I know Lady Penelope, yes, my lady, Parker. I mean, he must have seen some stuff, Parker. I mean, she was Lady Penelope all fur coat and no niggers? I mean, he must have. She was posh. No, not that posh, but you know, it needs must when you're a posh bird like Lady Penelope. And Parker was discreet. Yes, my lady. Soul Rebel says Robinson Crusoe, which was beautiful, but it was dubbed. It was dubbed. We knew it wasn't English, so it must have been really far, far away for Robinson Crusoe to have his adventures taped and recorded and then pinged across to the BBC in Blighty. I mean, artistic license before you say. Ace of Wands. All that she wants is a little baby. Was that Matthew Whedon? Is that a pop song, or are you talking about, is Ace of Wands a kind of telly thing, or are you a little younger than my core audience of an evening? Flashing Blade, says Carl Warby. Flashing Blade? Who was that? Was it an Italian thing? I think what they used to do with us, no wonder we're a bit warped, is they used to buy, it's a technical term, so I can use it. They used to buy shite from foreign TV companies and then stick it on. Can you remember that little fella? I can't remember the TV series. I can't remember what it was called. It was dubbed and there was like a dwarf in it. And he was running around causing all kinds of mayhem. He used to scare the bejesus out of me. It used to be on in the summer holidays, as well as Black Beauty and stuff. But this little fella, it was just, I used to watch it, and it was full of really weird, trippy, must have been made by people on recreational gear, because I was watching it thinking, what now? Bloody hell's this? Or Dominic Beresford. We are going to talk about Doctor Who tonight, but oh hell, the original Doctor Who theme. Magic Monkey was pretty good theme too. Magic Monkey, I'm not going to decry that, because you're Fatal Racing driver, you'll accuse me of spanking the monkey. Daktari with a one-eyed line, Clarence. Adam's Family. The singing... Oh, thank you, Ian McGee. The singing ringing tree. I mean, what were the BBC thinking? Look at why we're all warped in our 50s and 60s. Sandra Whittam, I liked Round the World in 80 Days cartoon. Me too. Wacky Races. Oh, that was the thing. Sarah, green on blue. Peter, dressing in Victoriana clothes. Ray Norton, should we take 30 seconds to remember that? Lauren Taylor, what was the zoo programme called? Good question. I can't remember. What was the zoo programme? Was that Tommy Boyd? See you allegedly abused an Netflix counsellor. Total bit. Ooh, blimey, we're getting in heavy tonight, Les. Stuart. Fair dues to Stuart. The Flintstones. I mean, yabba dabba doo. We remember this stuff. We remember literally, not the scripts necessarily, but that singing ringing tree. I used to watch that thinking, what the? Okay, what they been on? I mean, the Magic Roundabout. Said Zebedee. Chongo on Danger Island was featured in the Banana Splits. Oh, na 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 na. We all know the tune. We all know the tune. So let's get back to Animal Magic. It was beautiful. It was genteel. Not as genteel as Banana Splits. Oi, 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 oi. I mean, now we kind of look back at, I know Captain Pugwash is often scripted and often mentioned, but we go back to our childhood thinking, how innocent were we? We didn't know anything. I mean, Roger the Cabin Boy, Master Bates, and they go, no, that wasn't, because nobody can see it. Is it on YouTube? Are all the episodes on YouTube? Tintin, Hershey's Adventures of Tintin. Animal Magic, hang on, I need to go down again. And we'll have another couple of minutes and we'll get into some of the more serious stuff. Andrew Goodrich, The Wooden Tops. Was that, the Wooden Tops. Was the Wooden Tops with Bill and Ben? Or am I getting the two mixed up? Animal Magic, Ivor the Engine. Oh, I used to watch that thinking, Jesus, how boring is his life. Poor Ivor the Engine. Bet no one old enough to remember Bill and Ben the Flower Pot Men. What the heck was that all about? Weed, Shire finds. And it was Watch with Mother. The BBC used to just cram stuff into Watch with Mother. And I went and, it was one day, I was with an aunt and my two cousins. And she said, right, you two can watch this. Adrian can't because it's Watch with Mother. His mother's not here. That traumatised me. I was thinking, oh, I've got a rejection complex now. She's told me I can't watch with Mother because my mother's not here. Cruel, man. Cruel. Who said Muffin the Mule? Les Griffiths. You tart. We can both get arrested for that. Along the riverbank, it was just genteel. The Herbs. Bagpuss, Ian McGee, Kelvin Edge says the Hobbs, Jane Psychic, Junior Showtime. Fair dues to the kids that appeared on that. Wasn't that, who was that with the lisp? That female actress that, I'm sure it was Junior Showtime. Was that in, Cracker, well, it's 5 o'clock, Friday night, Cracker Jack. Les Griffiths. We'll send you a cake with a file in it. Baba Papa, don't know that one, Paul Morton. Takeshi's Castle, yeah, that was quite good. Twas Bonnie Langford. Where is she now? Is she dead? Or is she still alive? Is she still acting? Didn't Bonnie Langford marry that magician that died? Is that Bonnie Langford? Or am I a bit... Thqueam until I'm thick. Brilliant. We'll feed it to the dogs. Ray Norton, Bonnie Langford, wait till your father gets home. Great American cartoon. Alan says Bonnie Blue. Yeah, tart. Oh, do you know Bonnie Blue's gonna? She's gonna June 10th. She's gonna sleep with 2,000 men. I mean, it's all shtick now. Everybody's at it. Sleeping with. No, I can't say that, Ray Norton. You're wrong. And opportunity knocks. That wasn't necessarily kids, but multicoloured thwop thwop, says Jean. But oh man, the guy that was presenter on Opportunity Knocks, Green, Uncle, what's his face, Green. I was a bit nervous about him. Wasn't there? And can you remember can you remember, final point, and Blobby, Napoleon Bonaparte, Scooby-Doo, can you remember the organist on, it was a Sunday night hymn show. He was called, was it Jess Yates? And he used to play the organ. A bit like Sister Mary. 2 hands, Jess. So Jess Yates used to play Huey Green. Thank you very much for everyone that told me. Obviously, I haven't had my hibiscus yet, or my Jaeger bomb. Oh, I see you. Nasty man, Jess Yates, Stephen Hall. Yes, yes. Paulie Yates, real dad. I was going to get to that. Now, Gene Psychic, let me tell you that Paulie Yates was known as the limpet in rock and roll circles. You just couldn't shake her off. Well, you know when she started kind of dancing with Michael Hutchins, and she said he had the Taj Mahal of all crotches. Well, I've been to a Boomtown Rats concert, and let me tell you, if Bob turned round quickly, he'd take out half the audience. So evidently, I don't know what you're saying because you can't see. My lips haven't moved. Fireball XL5. Thank you for the quick get out here, McGee. Paula liked well-hung men. You don't say, Terry. What do you think I've just said, Terry? Man, like, you know, Sister Mary's job is to blow the dust off the organ. Is that why it's called a blowjob? You, Bovril. You set him up. I'll knock him down. Les Griffiths. Huey Green took 10% of the winner's earnings for 2 years. That was reported a long time ago. Did he? What a boy. No, he's still alive, Adrian. You can't do that one. Didn't Paulie Yates play the Blue Vein Piccolo with Hutchins? Ray Norton. Yes, he did. And how can I put this delicately? So seemingly the photographs that he was looking at when he shuffled off this mortal coil, I've got a copy of. Seemingly. Lena Zavaroni, One Opportunity Knocks. No, that would be cruel. And Space 1999, was that for the kids? Or that was for the adults, man. But then again, you know, the women on How and Tiswas and Magpie was there for the dads. I mean, can you imagine the dads? Les Griffiths, yes, Les Griffiths is on your case. He said, who put the buttons in the collection box? Absolute scoundrels. Absolute scoundrels, you tarts. Buttons. Just smash the likes instead. That'll work. So, I want to tell you about, Atamant, Napoleon Blown Apart. Remember the music program, The Tube? Yes, I do, Andrew. Went there a few times. And one of my favourite, a couple of memories. Who was it that I saw drinking a bottle of Jack Daniels? I mean, literally swigging it. Was that Larry Blackman from Cameo? And one of the best bands I ever saw when I went up there to do interviews was Shaka Khan, kind of Rufus and Shaka Khan. Oi, 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 oi. They were proper musicians. I mean, I was standing there thinking, oh my word, Shaka Khan's rather tight. I'll leave you to the comedy. Oh, I say, Shaka Khan's rather tight. And Rufus, and it was just, oh man, it was just magical. Who else did I interview? Oh yeah, I did. There was can you remember, Jesus, Adrian. Hibiscus, quick, emergency hibiscus. All around the world, not Lena Zavaroni. You see, you've got Lena Zavaroni in my head. She went and moved, she was part of Blue Zone, and then she went and moved to Ireland with her then partner, possibly now husband, Lisa Stansfield. So Lisa Stansfield used to co-present a TV show in the Northeast with an old mate of mine and his big dog Dick. I can't remember what the TV program was called, but I went up there and interviewed Meatloaf. You know me Meatloaf story, don't you? Where we nearly had toe-to-toe, square go, and John Pass saved the day-ish, kind of. He saw the state I was in after. I mean, Meatloaf must have been 30-odd stone, man. He was a mountain. Not the sort of show. Razzmatazz, Matthew Whedon, thank you. Not Candid Camera either. Yeah, there's Ashton Lisa from Rochdale. I'm genuinely trying to remember my old mate that presented the TV show. He was, I don't think you'll remember. Why don't you? Yeah, that was another one. Meatloaf and Dennis Pennis. Did he smack Dennis Pennis, Aidan? Was Meatloaf tall? Oh, well, yeah, kind of 5'10", 5'11"-ish. Maybe a bit taller. Who remembers the Roxy on ITV? I do. I went to that as well. Wasn't that the Roxy, the ITV version of the Tube? And wasn't the Roxy where they put the network chart on? I can't remember who presented that, though. Was it Tony Wilson by any chance? No. Tony Wilson was there. Manchester. No, he replied to every question as full-blown opera singer. Brilliant. Oh, that's short. But, I mean, he was a big old unit, Amalia. Proper big old unit. Meatloaf had a sense of humour and was okay, providing he knew you were kidding. Aisha Buff. Blimey, Alan. I remember Liftoff and Aisha. She was kind of a really pretty... I'm not sure she was a muso, but they had people like T-Rex on. They had all the suite. They had all the bands from the time. Aisha was she an actress or a muso? Thank you, Aidan. Kid Jensen, yes, he did the network chart to begin with because they needed. Look, in radio terms, back in the day, the top 40 just obliterated everyone. Nobody could get any listeners for the couple of hours while it was on air from, was it 5 till 7 and then they extended it 4 till 7? Nobody could get anywhere near it. So what the ITV sort of, the commercial radio network decided, and hang on a second, I've got to tell you this. Les Griffiths, Grange Hill, the only school with no bad language. I hear you, Les. I hear you. Adrian, what do you make of all the conflicting stories about the indecent in Liverpool a week on? I'm going to talk about that, Paulie. That's what I've said to you. Have you not done your research about John Paul Boyle yet? You see, you've thrown me now. I was away with that. Yes, so in commercial radio terms, between sort of 5 and 7 on a Sunday, it was just dead. It was tumbleweed. Nobody was listening because everybody was listening to the top 40. So they came up with commercial radio's version of the chart so that they could have a chart there up against the top 40. And what they did was they kind of took the top 40-ish, but they also took radio plays. It's a bit like an American version of the chart. So they took the radio plays, and Kid Jensen was the beginning because he had that kind of Canadian, faux American, lovely guy, lovely guy. Have met him a couple of times. Lovely man. But he was, and it went from strength to strength. The commercial, I mean, now I think it's bigger than the BBC's chart. Could be wrong. There's Michael Bentine's potty mouth time, says Gene Psychic. Kid Jensen was paid a ton of money to go to Capital from Radio 1 to host a morning show and network chart. Of course. And I remember going up, the first band that I saw, if it was the network chart, it would have been the Roxy. First band, can you remember Living in a Box? Yeah, that. I mean, it was a monster sound. A fabulous radio song. They were the first people I saw up at the Roxy when they launched, because obviously we were... Radio T's or TFM as it was, and then Metro Radio, all the presenters were kind of invited over. I see you, Les. MK Ultra is the gossip. Oh, wait, I see you. I'm going to give you some. I'm going to go through me running order. So the sermon tonight is going to include Beckham Watch. Hello, my name's David. Manchester United, oh, how the mighty have fallen. Wait till I tell you what I've been hearing, and it's from an impeccable source. We're going to talk about the car crash in Leicester. What do you mean you've not heard it? Car crash in Leicester. 4 people involved. 2 couples, seemingly. 2 men, 2 women. 3 men arrested. No news coverage. Absolutely bugger all. Why is that then? So why does Liverpool get it all, and there's nothing in the mainstream media about Leicester? We're going to talk about Starmer the Hammer, as if we'd have a Sunday without Starmer the Hammer. Yes, let's get to... we'll get to... my name's David. We'll get to David Beckham in just a little while, but I'm not sure whether you... wasn't a crash, was a vehicular incident mowing down people with a car. What do you think Liverpool was, Terry? I'm using... Sorry, Sorry, I jumped before I was pushed. It's more an RTA accident, RTC crash, RTI incident. There's any kind of, it's just all language. But basically, it was a car ploughing into people. So as I say, the victims were 2 men, 2 women. There'd been a fight locally, from what I understand, and there are 3 people in hospital, serious but in a stable condition. So the car incident in Leicester has it would be unfair of me to say bigger incident, worse injuries, but it's not about the injuries, because the mental scarring of such, it's that's just as bad as being physically hurt. So I'm not sure why we can't talk about it. Well, no, we can't. But let me say, I'm just making you aware of the incident. I'm not talking about the specifics. I do uphold the process of law every single life. I will always protect it in any way, shape I can. So I'm just letting you know, because the mainstream media haven't really, considering it was just a few days-ish, less than a week after the Liverpool incident. A man's been arrested. Well, at least one man's been arrested. It might be 2 or 3, and 1 man charged. So once the charges have been imposed, we can't really talk about it. A male is on bail pending further investigations. That's the legalese. But it was interesting that within 24 hours, it was all shut down. Any reporting of it was shut down. Where's Terry gone? If you look at the videos online, it was. Ooh, okay. Beata, the court sketch of the Liverpool driver looks older than 53. I think it's amazing, Beata. I mean, we'll talk about the court artist, because it's not necessarily talking about the detail of the case, which we can't talk about due to the process of law. But that, I mean, I was thinking, had the court artist been on a liquid lunch or something? Because I looked at that bloke, and I looked at the picture of what was purported. Don't look anything like him. I mean, his hair's grown like within 2 days. I mean, if my hair grew like that, Jesus, I'd be in the barber's every other day. Can you imagine his barber's bill? Adrian, is shooting today at a shopping centre in County Carlow, Ireland. Suspect, not Ireland, shot himself. Or not Irish. Thank you, Paulie. Bloody hell, man. What is going on with the world? Aidan says, not only that, hair transplant and plastic surgery on his earlobes. He must have been to Turkey. Did anybody see his teeth? Terry Wookfet says they will do until they get lab results back. They can always add more charges. Of course. Ray Norton. Sketch by the court artist. Court artist was Stevie Wonder. Oh, brilliant. Neil Cunningham says, the court artist was a 6-year-old with Crayola crayons. Stevie Wonder could have been more accurate. Kathy Harper, he grew loads of hair in 5 days. I know, Kathy. I looked at it going, 53-year-old. That's either a merkin that's been backcombed, or, could be, or Amanda Sky, because I will tackle them. I am going to get onto David Beckham watch in a moment. But hang on, where's Amanda Sky gone? Everything is ramping up like mad at the minute. Yes, I agree. So, I don't know how to put this. Bad Wolf projects back in the body of the cook. Perhaps the court artist is AI. Did somebody? Oh well, it'll have been somebody putting information into AI. Yeah, maybe. What happened to Starmer's Fun Boy 3 stories? It ain't what you do, it's the way that you do it. Isn't that right, Sakia? Hopefully the wife don't find out. Leeds, evening, Adrian. Sorry I'm late. Oh, that's 3 Hail Marys and a couple of for due penance. Or, sorry, Hail Sister Mary, who's out in the beer garden. If you want anything from the bar, she's out there going, anyone want a slurp? Neil Cunningham, I'm 56 and bald as Bonnie Blue's exit wound. Rusty bullet hole. Neil. Can I just say, I used that gag on Century 106, and Larry Lloyd and Darren Fletcher. I talked about rusty. There'd been a shooting in Nottingham somewhere, and I talked about the rusty bullet holes, and literally Larry and Darren barged into the. Well, I'm live on air. Barged into the studio, going, "Oi, you nearly made us crash the car. That was funny as." Obviously, it's 2025. It has a completely different meaning nowadays. Europe is being taken from within, from behind. Napoleon blown apart. So I'm told, especially 50% steel tariffs. Whoa, what can I say? Here, Kia, mate, what you doing, man? It's the Clovert Piven strategy. Is that Clovert Piven strategy? It's kill it from within. The Bad Wolf Project. Bonnie Blue, that is one furry cup I would refuse to drink from. Don't do... no, Adrian, no. Buying multiple houses, but rents boys. Don't know who you're talking about, Aiden. Fun Boy 3, though. What a band that was. 1982, 83. Used to be the Specials. Oh, which one of them was the Special? I have no idea what you're talking about. You couldn't see me lips move. So the Fun Boy 3 it will be, not the Specials. Maybe they cost more. Ray Norton, is Bonnie Blue's furry cup half full or half empty? Tip her upside down and empty her. Bonnie Blue's banned from Forest Match. What a record. Is she from the City Ground? Bonnie Blue is a walking biohazard. Les Griffiths taking us back to music. ABC were brilliant. Shoot That Poison Arrow, one of the greatest radio songs ever, because letting you into lifting the veil of commercial radio. It used to be that you could start it, it had an intro, so if you were reading a script or you were doing a link, you could do it over the front, and it had what we call a dead end, so it ended absolutely abruptly. Shoot that poison arrow, bang, dead. So you could either go into an ad break or you could go into another song, segue them, play a jingle. It was so versatile. It's one of my favourite radio songs because it's brilliant when you're on the radio and you kind of... And back in the day, I will tell you this, because the kids won't know this, but when you were using vinyl and carts and old style radio shows and you were doing FM and AM simulcast, so I used to go on AM and open the microphone. I'd go into AM, open the microphone, and because of the way the sound was compressed on AM, if you talk like David Beckham, it wouldn't cut through. It wouldn't. So you had to know how to cut through on AM for maximum effect and power. FM. We had Optimod and all this kind of processing on the signal, which would go, oh, hello, presenter speaking, and just suck you out of the mix, so to speak. Stop making your own what your gags up. Andrew, you utter wrong'un. I wonder if Mini Pop sent Savile and Glitter into overdrive. So the radio presenters used to be... the radio presenters, it was a very different place. Nowadays in commercial radio, there's a button there that says next. Genuinely, there is a button in the studio, green button that says next. Next. There's no creativity in radio anymore. Oh, they talk about it in the zoo format and breakfasts, and there's not. The creativity is in speech. It's not in music. Oh, dear Lord. And do you know my favourite singer? Swiftie. Like, she's just set... Oh, there you go. The gods are on my side. There's a... hang on a second. What's that? I mentioned Swiftie. My glasses start steaming up. How does that work? Right, I'm going to give them a polish while I talk to you. So, Swiftie, seemingly, has set some kind of streaming record. Or she's bought her original masters back for 360 million. I mean... Hang on a second. Who would want to spunk 360 million on her masters other than Swiftie? Not me. Jesus. Or she's hit some records. So either she's coming back out again, out. Wait for it. My only question about Swiftie is I'm not a fan of her music. I'm not necessarily her demographic that she's aiming for. I will get back to commercial radio in a second. I'm not the I'm not the demographic that she's aiming for, but why did she have so many boyfriends and never get engaged or married? Any clues? I have, but I'm not saying them here. She'll sue the shit out of me. Maybe Swifty does something to you, Rev. Yeah, she does. Total 69, evening, Adrian, and all you utter wrong'uns. I was watching on TV, so I couldn't chat. That's all right. You missed the best. You didn't miss the best bit. Swifty, a man, in my opinion, says Bon. Micropenis was a video that I saw the other day. I was like, "Whoa, this is the internet. It's going a bit mad. It is, you know, the Matrix. The internet is it's a shiny nylon legs you love, isn't it? No, can you imagine? Mind you, she'd be brilliant if we went camping or we were or on a desert island. We get marooned on a desert island. Gosh, she could start all the fires with those nylon leggings." Radio Caroline still plays a good variety of music. Yeah, I know. Lovely, lovely. Very romantic. So in commercial radio terms, there was lots of, what was I going to tell you? The presenters, ABC, and I'm going to get it in the neck now. Lifting the verb. That's it. So the point I wanted to make was that in commercial radio terms, in the early days, it was like the BBC. The BBC spent a shit ton of money on the studios that Radio 1 used. I mean, you even pressed a button and it cued the disc, like a 7-inch disc. Do I have to explain what a vinyl 7-inch disc is? It cued the disc up themselves, but there was something called... I always called it razor burn, but it wasn't. It was cue burn, that was it. It was cue burn because everybody used the same song and cued the same song to the same place in the song at the beginning of the song. So you would hear a at the beginning. So everybody had dropped the needle on the vinyl and just been kind of reverse cueing it and getting it to the beginning. But literally, if you did a 2 or 3 hour radio show on commercial radio, you had to get all the ads out. They were on individual carts, like 30 second, 60 second, 90 second for the adverts. You had an ad log that you had to adhere to. Otherwise, you were in deep doo-doo if you didn't play the ads. That's what paid the bills. So you had to do that. And playing vinyl and or tapes and or... So commercial radio was... it was literally like running a marathon. You would come out of the studio ordinarily and you would be completely wiped. Hang on. I met Shakin' Stevens a long time ago. Bit of a wanker, to be honest. Unlike you to be straight talking, Les. I mean, can you imagine, though, that Shaky at the beginning of the 80s, that's 40 odd years ago. He must be a pensioner now. But if you look at the level of fame that went with being famous at that point, it was all day, every day. Can I have my picture taken with you? Are you going to be on Jim or Fix It? It just must have been all day, every day by the kids. Oh, here, go, Foxtrot Oscar, Halloween Shite Man. So I don't know whether he was... we need a DJ like Wolfman Jack from American Graffiti. Wasn't that? That just sounded really creepy. But I used to be able to do a Wolfman Jack on... all manufactured pish, says Les. Des Ashton, we need a DJ like Wolfman Jack from American Graffiti. Wolfman Jack was some boy. He was, what a DJ, what a voice. It's all down to, in my view, commercial radio sense, it's all down to the presenter's voice. If you've got and the only reason you would get hired is if you had a good voice, if it was soothing. And I will tell you this for fact, do not listen to anybody that spouts any of the shite about, oh, let's make smooth for the women and let's make heart for the women and let's make this for the women and that for the women. Women don't like women on the radio. Fact. Certainly from my days, and I've been in commercial radio 40 years. I did my first commercial radio show on Radio Tees in 1985, and I was a gopher, a grunt in the building the year before. So technically, I've been in commercial radio since 1984. If you add my hospital radio stints and background, we're talking 1979. We're talking war, a long time. So 46 years. So I know what I'm talking about because I've lived it. It's my lived experience. And women in my view, and it was borne out by the research back in the day, women prefer male voices. But that doesn't fit the narrative, does it? No, Adrian. No, don't say that. You're a misogynist, am I? Och. I'll tell you this. I loved my mum. No one is allowed to denigrate her memory, or her at the time. Call me a misogynist. Have a word with my mother. She'll tell you otherwise. But that's kind of, it's 2025, Adrian. You've got to be a misogynist to be anything. Gene Psycho did not mind Janice Long. Terry, you tart. Wrong one. More women loved Wolfman Jack than the men did. Oh, I'm sure they did. The bad Wolfman Jack project. Steve Wright made the zoo format what it is today. No, in this country maybe, but he wasn't the first. He nicked all of his ideas from America. Rick Dees and his cast of idiots. That was the first, not Steve Wright. But I know you know that. The Ginger Tit Evans claims he created zoo format in the UK. Had a way and shite, man. Rick Dees was doing it in the 70s before commercial radio hit over here. Rick Dees was a boy. I used to like Simon D. Hey, yeah, he was very good. I started in hospital radio in 1979. Blimey, Stephen. Gene Psychic, Radio Caroline. So, Adrian has said before. Hang on. Yes, Stuart. Fizzog for radio. So, the romance of old commercial radio, when you finished your shift, didn't matter whether it was breakfast, mid-mornings, afternoons, drive or evenings. I've presented them all. You just literally, you came out of the studio and thought, God, I need to get myself home. I'm absolutely... Zoe Ball nearly destroyed BBC Radio 2, says Sam. That's why I sacked her. Not from BBC Radio 2, but I got rid of her when I went in as the part of the management team in Liberty 963. Went in. How much charging? Oh, Jesus. No. Thanks, Zoe. Thanks very much. No, thanks. Come to think of it, how old was Billy Piper when she married Chris Evans? The Jacobite. 17? 17, 18? Barely legal tender. The Bad Wolf Project. Rick D and Don Imus, both forerunners of Howard Stern. Yeah, agreed. Agreed, Don Imus. Bloody hell. But they kind of, I don't even know whether the radio presenters have evolved over the last 40 years. I'm still on the Phantom Flanflinger. A beautifully wonderful guy that I had a lot of time for. So creative. But there are those, like my mate Bernie, one of the most creative, he still works for the BBC, one of the most creative men I've ever heard on the radio. And there are, it was interesting that in the northeast of England, BBC Radio hired an American to do, was it mid-afternoons or drive? And he sounded great on the radio. And I'm sure the management team were like, whoa, what a voice. But the people of the northeast going, oh, does he live in Whitley Bay? Or is he Geordie or Mackham? It just couldn't get off. It couldn't get on with it, so to speak. She didn't take a penny off Chris when... I know Dave Rodigan's still doing his live stuff, his sound clashes, which is wonderful. I mean, David Rodigan must be. I mean, I was a spring chicken compared to some of these boys, and if they're still doing it, fantastic. Napoleon blown apart. Me too. I see you. Radio is making a comeback. People don't watch telly live these days. No, they don't. There's more. The kind of youngsters are coming up and watching YouTube and listening to. Now that you've got AI in some of the streaming services, the AI is like DJing their output, and they'll put, if you want, they'll integrate weather, time, information, news. So you don't really need a DJ. But I will tell you this, most radio presenters didn't get paid for just doing an average radio. They got paid when something went wrong and they could recover on a dime. For example, the greatest recovery I have ever heard on radio was Mike. Fucking hell, Adrian. Dear Lord. Mike the Mouth, Mike Elliott. Sorry about that, I struggled. I don't know why. Mike Elliott who started his phone in, was getting calls in, and all of a sudden he's told by the phone up through the window, Mike, the phones are buggered. What you done now? Oh, no, the phones are buggered. Mike. He's like, so explain to me in my ear, because the call was cut off and Mike was just left dangling in the air, so to speak, metaphorically. And he was a big boy, Mike Elliott, big boy. And they said, the phones don't work, Mike. And he laughed. He said, how can I do a phone in without phone calls? And they said, we're not joking, Mike. It's literally the phones don't work. We'll get onto the engineers and we'll get the engineers out. So what was Mike Elliott to do? The greatest recovery, and he earned his money. He did a 2.5 hour live comedy routine on the radio with no interaction with an audience, because the phones didn't work. Nobody could call in. And he just went, forget the phones. No. What we'll do is, right, we'll start with, right, I've got a list here, and it's the top 10 swear words that you can't say on the radio. And he went, number 10 is, and he just went through the top 10 radio swearables. And the audience loved it. I mean, it was just, everybody was literally ringing up their friends going, here, switch the radio on. Mike Elliott, he's got no phone calls, but bugger me, he's funny. And I swear, if there are any tapes of that, there must be somewhere. We mentioned John Myers earlier. Chunky Myers said, Mike, man, what you doing? But the pair of them ended up laughing because Mike Elliott had created magic from nothing. And that's where the real, not the journeyman pros, some of them were a bit vanilla. They really didn't do anything. You got paid if you were creative, and you got paid if your listenership went up. I mean, I told you, was it last week when I got locked out of Real Radio in South Wales, me and the Stud Muffin? And we got saved by Helen the Journo, who we thought had gone home, but was still in, I think she was just getting a hat and coat, and came to the door and went, what you two doing? And I think if you go to the playlist of all the radio stuff, I think you'll find it's me and the Stud Muffin getting locked out of Real Radio in South Wales. But again, it's me and the Stud Muffin, we didn't know what we were doing half the time. And I went out thinking he had the keys, and he thought I had the keys. The door was locked, and we were out there for 3 or 4 or 5 minutes. All of a sudden, what we're going to do, we're going to have to do a show without any phone calls. And I was thinking about Mike Elliott as that happened. Thankfully, Helen let us back in. I got him in the studio, saying, go and answer the bloody phones. And we got away with it. Interesting, Karina Jane. I used to listen to Heart till Amanda was presenting it. Now I listen to Heart 90s. Interesting. They don't. The Bad Wolf Project, we had notice on our studio that read, when it all goes tits up, ring this number. Yeah, and they didn't have anybody to ring. They just had to, and the part of my reputation doing a phone-in is, and I'll let you into this secret, and once you've heard this, you've got to disregard it and just don't watch this live ever again. So there's a thing called the emergency tape. And basically, if something blows up in the radio station, or the transmitter goes down, or something goes a little bit awry, and the presenter can't speak or play anything, an emergency tape, and it was a tape, would kick in after about 45 seconds or so. So you'd be at home, and all of a sudden it'd be like, silence. And then you'd go, what's going on? 45 seconds later, you'd get wham, I'm your man or something for however long we needed. And it was an hour-long tape to give you enough time to get the engineers in and sort everything out. If you want to see an excellent example of what commercial radio is all about, and it applies to this country as well as America, watch FM, the film. At the beginning, there's a jock, DJ, in bed with one of his listeners, and he jumps up thinking, shit, I'm late for the breakfast show. He literally tears across town, gets into the radio studio with 10 seconds to go, cues the song up, patches the song away, and comes over the intro of the song going blah, 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 FM, no static at all, hits the intro. And I just looked at that and roared with laughter, because that's exactly how it is. So the silence, the emergency tape would kick in after 45 seconds for 60 minutes. And once the emergency tape kicked in, it was a real bind trying to stop it, because engineers had to come in and everything. So what I used to do for dramatic effect was, and I've had bollockings for this from my bosses. I used to be chatting and arguing, or someone would be really struggling with something, and I would just close the fader and say nothing for dramatic effect and leave it for 44 seconds, a second before the emergency tape kicked in, and I'd open my microphone and speak. Now, what silence does, and nobody gets this on YouTube, absolutely nobody, and you have to have done it to know it. Basically, someone, you can't do that with an ugly fizz-up like that, because if I closed the fader and you didn't hear anything, you'd be like, what's he up to? But on radio, if you close the fader and there's nothing, it makes people turn the radio up. It is bizarre. It makes them turn the radio up, and it makes them pay attention, because they'll be kind of, I don't know, hoovering or doing whatever they do late at night in the comfort of their own bedrooms. You're wrong. And they would just kind of, it's like in the background. The things that made people turn the radio up was like an argument, proper argument, or someone crying, or somehow emotionally engaging you. The best one was silence, because you could just shut up and leave it for 30 seconds and people would go, oh, what's going on? Turn it up. There's something wrong. Has it crashed, gone off air? Is the radio station still working? And then you just, cool as a cucumber, come back in and go, yeah, right. So, as I was saying to you, and everybody that was listening, the radios had been turned up or they were paying attention. Honestly, it's such a powerful tool. You can't do it if you're in vision. You can only do it if you're doing radio or have done radio and know how radio works. So, Mike Smith, yes, very good. Nobody is allowed to take risks at the BBC these days. I know. It's all vanilla. And like radio too. I mean, maybe I'm speaking out of turn, but there's not... There's one or two things. I mean, Peel, definitely. I loved Evans on Breakfast. I listened to Vine all the time. I used to love Simon What's-His-Face on Drive. And then at night, some of the shows they have at night, it's kind of, radio comes into its own because it's very intimate late at night, whether it's a phone-in or whether it's a particular music brand or genre. It's late night radio comes into its own. So, do you want to know? We're going to do something called Beckham Watch. So every time I'm on a live, we're going to do Beckham Watch. So you know that the mainstream media are portraying David Beckham and Victoria as the victims. Oh, I say, not according to what I found out from very reliable sources. And as I said a couple of weeks ago, this is why it's a joke. A, Beckham gets a World Economic Forum prize, gift, award, however you want to call it. Dale Steele. Hursty, yeah, absolutely just nails it. Gene Psychic says, this is like visual radio, and Adrian's radio presenting skills make a good show. You're very kind. Alan says, thank you, Gene Psychic. And Alan says, poor old Golden Balls. Yeah, well, he's a weft puppet now, as I've been saying since January. But I don't know whether you've got kids and or grandkids, and whether they're old enough to have their own partner and decide whether they want to be a life partner and they want to marry them and they want to propose and all that. Brooklyn is their eldest. He's their eldest boy. And he's married Nicola Peltz. Notice, she's not taken the Beckham name. Oi, oi, oi. I know it's 2025. And I know she's an independent woman, independently wealthy, away from the Beckhams. And her daddy is a billionaire. So out trumps the Beckhams. Hello, my name's David. So Brooklyn is a married man. And as I wanted to say, if you've got kids, just kids, they can decide. So long as you've given them enough life tools, and so long as you've given them enough to understand what life is all about, and life merely is a reflection of who you are, and you have to come to terms with who you are, and life is about finding yourself in any given circumstances in many different ways. It's about finding out who you are. I commend Brooklyn Beckham because he's his own man, and seemingly, well, I'll say this. Any kind of man, if it was me or you, or a woman for that matter, if there was any, to use a Yiddish word, broigus in the family, you'd go and sort it out. Like my dad, if there'd been anything between me and my siblings, he would have just gone, oi, right, come here. So, what's going on? Tell me, otherwise I'm going to bang your heads together. Well, it's like this. Oh, it's a nothing. It's shite. Here, there you go. Stop it. Get on with life. So, David, why hasn't he been? He'll know where Brooklyn lives. Brooklyn's in the house. So he'll know where Brooklyn is. He'll know where Nicola Peltz lives. She lives with Brooklyn. So why hasn't David been anything kind of a man and gone, here, Brooklyn, man, what are you doing? Brooklyn's a married man. His first priority, and I'm sure David agrees with this, is your wife. So David Beckham protects Victoria at every turn. So Brooklyn Beckham will protect Nicola at every turn. So, but any kind of a man would go and knock on his door and go, hey, Brooklyn, it's your dad, it's daddy. But seemingly, we've got husbands, as in David and Brooklyn, at daggers drawn, according to the newspapers. And again today, there's 4 pages worth of reportage on a slightly different angle on the whole family dynamic. It's just, in the words of the great Chinese philosopher, bollocks. 4 pages. I think it was the Daily Mail that's got a 2-page spread, and they've got some kind of, no, look, 2 husbands, let's have a word. Dad, man. Mind you, have you heard Beckham? Have you heard Brooklyn? No, I haven't. Heard David when he went on Parkinson. So the Sun today, the Sun on Sunday, is reporting that Anthony What's-His-Face, some singer, has said, so-and-so, and can we have the most beautiful woman in the room up, please? This is at Nicola Peltz's wedding. He called Victoria Beckham the most beautiful woman in the room at Nicola Peltz's wedding. You absolutely cannot, in any way, shape or form, wear white, denigrate the bride, or take the mickey in some way, shape or form. You can't even get, large it and then start spouting off all the things you wanted to say to all the family. But Anthony, this singer, says, can we have the most beautiful woman in the room up? And seemingly, it was Victoria Beckham, and then Victoria Beckham goes on to have a slow dance with Nicola Peltz's hubby, Brooklyn. I mean, is that like marking out your territory? It's like a feral cat marking out your territory. This is my son. Well, I think you'll find, Victoria, your husband's David, not Brooklyn. Your husband David should have been dancing with you, and Nicola's husband should be, oh, you're very kind, Stuart. Thank you for the support. So Victoria has nicked the spotlight, the limelight, at Nicola Peltz's wedding. I mean, how just, no, man. I mean, anybody with any class. So Brooklyn's going to protect his wife. He's not going to protect his mother, because at some point in every child's life, they rebel against their parents. They go off-ski and want to live their own life. And David and Victoria are getting all this press coverage. It's like it's pages and pages and pages of shite, man. Victoria, come and have a look at this. Calling me golden balls again. You'll have knee balls if you keep doing this and talking like that, David. But David will admit that he will protect Victoria. So that's all Brooklyn's doing. Honestly, I can't keep doing this David Beckham voice. Gosh, it's like Sleeping Beauty, the fairest of them all. Vic cannot sing. I know, can't dance either. Thank you, Alan. Really appreciate the support. Thank you. But But I want to get to, so that's the Beckham Watch today. And there's pages of it in the Sundays. So I'll get it tomorrow and I'll open the papers up and it'll be like, oh no, man, how the bloody hell can they eke this out? He's a weft puppet. That's why they're doing it. He's getting all this reportage in the newspapers because he's a weft puppet. According to AI, not a great footballer either. David's pants are too tight. Try telling that to Parkinson, who, it was being lauded. He went voice coaching, voice breathing, voice coaching, everything, all of that. He was using the Alexander technique, I'm sure, for breathing and not getting too, well, I'm nervous. I mean, honestly, there was at one point when he was speaking, there was only dogs could be able to listen to him. But before he went on Parkinson, he was like, he brought it down to, hello, my name's David. And I can't get that voice out of my head. It'll always be there. I mean, he can sound as much as he wants. But he don't want to be. He wants to own and have money. And Brand Beckham is all. Well, Brand Beckham is going to turn at some point because stop having a go at your son. Stop having your PR people having a go at your son because do you know something? In my eyes, Brooklyn is a man. And he's protecting his wife. He's not taking the shite from the family. His younger brother. Oh, I love me mum and dad. I bet you fucking do. Where are you going to get 300 million inherited to you apart from your... Yes, exactly. If you've got money around, you watch people because money does funny things to people. I'm not suggesting this is happening, but it is just me speaking out loud and you can't see me lips move. But you know something? Off you go. Earn it yourself. I had a pint with Nick, the late Tony Cartledge's son. Tony was one of the good guys. Oh, yes. Agreed, Nicholas. Amalia, your missus must be killing herself listening to you. She done. I give her earplugs before I start every live. That interview was a joke in more ways than one. I remember the old dears rushing home on the peasant wagon to watch it. I'm with you, Andrew James. Hello, my name's David. This is Posh Spice. Well, you know why he spoke like that, don't you? Because he wore a sari. I mean, what kind of a man wears a sari? Mind you, all he did was he just wore, kind of in 2025, what was going to be hot in 2026, and everybody thought he was a fashion icon. No, Brand Beckham, that's how you make money, man. You do. Beck's hardly ever scored in the box. Wouldn't be the first time, says Burlington Birdie. That's why she's got that look on her face. How much plastic surgery she had? Just a question. Don't know why I'm asking it. Just a question. I mean, I'm delirious. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. So I want to talk about, this is the body of the Kirk after all. And any tension between the Beckhams and the Markles will do their best to make it worse. Brilliant. Do you know, I understand that the Markles are advising Nicola and Brooklyn as to how to deal with families. Meghan's dad's had to move out to the Philippines to get away from her with his son, her half-brother, and they're pulling blown apart too much. Stuart says, just asking for a friend. And don't know how much surgery, but she now has a cleft chin. Les. It's called a clitoris. So, I have no idea why I said that. I'm delirious. I've had, I think somebody's been putting too many Jaeger bombs in my tea. You can't see my lips move. Apparently, today is the first day of Pride Month, so we all have to be gay for 30 days. Speak for yourself, Terry. I'm a giver, not a taker. Oh, yes. I was going to say. So it's the first day of June, 2025. There's two things here. Stuart guilty. Burlington Bertley, he talks like that because Posh Spice has his golden balls in her handbag. Credit card circumcision. Who I say. Andrew James says, I'm too grumpy to be happy. Andrew, you curmudgeonly old bagger. I see you, Terry. I'm proud to be straight month in my house. Yeah. Well, anyway. People can do whatever they want to do. Just don't foist it down my throat. No, I'm not rephrasing it. So I want to kind of tackle this next subject as sort of two halves. See what I did there? David Beckham, football, 45 minutes each, 2 halves. It's what was I talking about there? Yes, I'm talking to the appropriate audience for this channel. And I know this is the body of the Kirk. I know I am the ranting reverend, and I know the choir boys continue to complain about Mars bars. It's not enough. Sister Mary's had to open a beer garden just to make the odd shekel or 3. And Cardinal's still not come back from Rome. I mean, what is more fascinating in Rome than like coming back to the body of the Kirk on a Sunday night for a live? But I believe we are degenerates. So the parishioners of this body of the Kirk, we are degenerates. Why do I say that? Because we don't do as we're told. We don't follow the mainstream media propagandists or propaganda. They are merely propaganda peddlers. We are degenerates because we won't do as we are told. In fact, everybody that tells us what to do, they can foxtrot Oscar. We're not interested, man. We're not interested in your political parties. We're not interested in your BS. We're not interested because we can see through them. I see you. Chuckle? Would that make me and you? Chuckle brothers. I see you. To me, to you, to me, to you. For the next month, I'm going to be a lesbian. Any rugs need munching, I'm your man. Brilliant, Terry, you can join me, because I actually came out on real radio as lesbian back in the day. With a justification, I've got facial hair, I wear dungarees, comfortable shoes, and I drink pints. But I'm not quite sure how 2025 will take that, because, I mean, it was radio of the day. People laughed. I'm sure there will be people who go, no, I'm offended. Oh, really? It's a joke, man. It's humour. In the same way that certain communities would call me a breeder. It's all in language. Which is why they're censoring it. I get it, Les. I do. I get it. But I want to talk about you and I. We are degenerates. We do not believe anything we are told by the mainstream media. By the media. Nothing. Nix. Nada. Nout. We literally look at it and laugh. I pick it up every morning and I go, oh, I say, The Sun, front page, it's more showbiz. It's not news, it's a comic. It's losing 50 million a year. And there's Sky TV losing 70 million pounds in debt. So I'm going to offer this to you, that the people that watch this channel, the people that enjoy the things that I spout on about, are aware of things that go on. We are going to get to Liverpool. Don't worry, that's coming. We are going to get to Leicester. That's coming. If you want to have a look, Liverpool, just do, well, Google John Paul Boyle. Just do that. And have a look at the pictures that come up when you Google John Paul Boyle. That's all. That's all. I can't talk about the case that's ongoing. I can't talk about that, and I'm not. Because John Paul Boyle is a different man. So people then go on to talk about the propaganda peddlers and talk about and quote Lucy Connolly. Now, it's an awful thing that Lucy's going through. She's a mum, couple of kids. She's going to do, was it 31 months? But she's like the cause celeb. We don't do that on this channel. We tell it like it is. We tell truth and we communicate truth. Because the reason I'm saying that, we have all forgotten about Wayne Rourke. He was jailed for 3 years. Twice as long, almost, as Lucy. But nobody's mentioning Wayne's name. Is that because he's been memory holed? Is this because he's a man and nobody cares about men? It's just propaganda and even another agenda where a cause celeb, female Lucy Connolly, they're saying she's a state prisoner. But nobody mentions Wayne. Why not? There should be everyone's name that has been jailed for this farce and by this corrupt government. And I can call them corrupt because we know they spend our money on stuff like Ukraine. 3 billion. Correct, Terry. So we have £3 billion going to Ukraine. Why? Well, if you look at that current, we will stay with Lucy Connolly and Wayne Rourke, but I need to give you contextual advice. We are looking at a war that seemingly isn't going to stop. Trump wants it. Trump will make it such. And you've got Sniffy. Where are we? Lads, come on. Marching powder. Let's go and invade Poland. Well, the Nazis in Ukraine. Funny that. So why is a left-wing government supporting right-wing Nazis in Ukraine? I've no idea either. But they're giving them £3 billion a year for 100 years. So the most corrupt country virtually on planet Earth that's laundered billions and billions and billions by the tens of billions through that country for the politicians to trouser however millions they want. I mean, they're talking about Joe Biden nearly 100 million trousered out of the money that America gave to the Ukraine. So I can call any government corrupt if I have a feeling that they're doing marching powder, they're killing off, so to speak, metaphorically, killing stories in newspapers because it doesn't make them look good. So as I have said, join this dot. David Beckham, Weft Puppet, Sakia, and all of a sudden certain stories about Sakia Starmer, two-tier, free gear, queer as folk Starmer is gone. Don't see them in the press anymore, and give them 2 weeks, you've forgotten about it. I haven't, because I've got the bloody newspapers. Wait till you see what I'm going to do with Rachel Reeves and all the promises she made just before the general election, and Sakia Starmer just before the general election, and Ginger Growler, core blimey, she's like a prowling tiger. She's just waiting for her chance to have the prime ministerialship. So just remember, two-tier clown. And all the stuff that's come out, whether it's the Fun Boy 3, or whether it's the Colombian, or whether it's anything else, his lies and his U-turns, all of that. But I've said this from the very beginning, and Gene Psychic concurs. Must have some dirt on Starmer, one of the ugly sister dames' best mate. I do feel there's every chance he's gone before the end of July. Because Labour are getting it. They're getting it. And the reason why they're getting it is because they just put it, they want power. They don't want anything else. This is the Labour Party and the Tories. The Tories are done and finished. I've told you 18 months ago. We will get to that in a moment. But the Labour Party, they used Sir Keir Starmer to get into power. WEF wanted him into power so that they could start laundering shit tons of money. Foreign aid. I only have to give you one example. The United States Agency for International Development. Look at the billions. The billions. Was it Uganda? They spent 100 million on male circumcision. What? They spent billions and billions and billions abroad. And some of it, this is how the system works, comes back to the trouser pockets of the politicians. You tell me how some of the American politicians, quite high-profile politicians, managed to have tens of millions in their bank account, one of them 200 million, and she's only on 175 grand a year. The deniability is, it's all my husband's money or all my wife's money. Yeah, we get that. We got that from Rich Boy Sunak. Remember him? They're a feckin' joke. So politics today, and I will say it again, so the next time you read it in the newspapers, it's about laundering money abroad and getting paid. Payback coming into your trouser pocket, whether you're male or female, everybody wears trousers, but it comes back into your pocket, and by the time you leave the Houses of Parliament, you're a very wealthy, not rich, wealthy individual. Beata says, Paulie Galtieri, not with his button mushroom. Oh, I say. Have you ordered his book? I don't think you will have the truth, to be honest. Hang on. Where's Paulie Galtieri gone? Let me just see what he says. Evening, Jackie Glasgow. What about the poor bloke who's supposed to have... Yes. I agree, Jackie. I completely agree. I don't know where Paulie Gallieri is. He must have said something about half an hour ago. I'll go back to... Neil Cunningham says, I'd make ginger growler holler like a red Indian. Woo, 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 woo. How? Could be a TV presenter. So this two-tier clown, can you remember what he said? He was sat next to the two most powerful men on planet Earth. I mean, Putin is Putin. He's just a businessman. But so's Trump. And Trump, as leader of the West, is one of the most powerful men in the world. And he's sitting there, and his attack dog, J.D. Vance, went for Starmer's throat. The Bad Wolf Project says Al Gore net wealth 300 million from 165 grand salary. There you go, an inconvenient truth. See what I did there? So you know that the major politicians are making so much money from whatever or however they know how to make money. It's all about the United States Agency for International Development. And what have we got in this country? We've got foreign aid. They're pumping it into Africa, probably for, I don't know, elephant shaggers or something. Elephant shaggers are us. Oh, we'll take some of that. Thank you very much. So remember, two-tier clown in the White House, and I'm paraphrasing, we're proud of our free speech in my country. And the whole of the UK went, has he been sniffing the barmaid's apron? What's he up to? We're proud of the free speech in my country. And J.D. Vance pushed him and pushed him and pushed him. I mean, you can talk about, if you wish, Andrew Lawrence, the comedian. Oi, 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 oi. Look, this is the way that online works. I don't do this for any other reason than I enjoy it. And I'm really touched and humbled by people supporting the channel, either by viewing it or liking any of my videos or some of the financial support I get from some of the viewers and listeners. It all means a lot to me. But I'm not doing this for, financial gain and to be famous. I've had infamy, proper infamy. Nicholas says, Gaddafi, was he going to use his oil to trade for Libyan oil as opposed to the US dollar? Yeah, well, remember, BRICS, they were going to trade US oil not in the petrodollar. It would have been beating the global reserve currency by having a new currency backed by the value of gold. Nicholas is leading me into something that I do want to talk about tonight on the live, so I better get me freak on. But Andrew Lawrence, so free speech in this country. Andrew Lawrence has had a go at the Scousers. Oi, 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 oi. But now, because we have social media and we have these YouTube channels and other social media, you say something contentious, bang, you get all of these subs and likes and not likes, and controversy sells. That's all Andrew Lawrence is doing. He's doing controversy. So he's picked a particular part of society. He's going in hard. He's injecting the poison hard. And the Scousers are going absolutely nuts. Now, people have come out and said, oh, no, we're not going to promote any tour that Andrew Lawrence does. And Andrew Lawrence came out and went, oh, here, Foxtrot, Oscar, I finished just a major tour and I'm not doing another one for a while. So I'm not going to come and use you, morons. Am I, you clowns? So he's had to go with the Scousers. I mean, my view, the timing's not great. But look, he's making hay while the sun shines. Thankfully, no one got killed. But there is some dubiety about some stuff. I think this is the perfect time to get into... So, have you Googled him yet? Who's John Paul Boyle? Knock, knock. Funboy 3. Funboy 3 who? Ah, you see how the media works now. Bigger story comes along. Boof! Story dead. That artist impression in court. Where did the bloody... Was that a wig he was wearing? I mean, the poor artist impression. Did somebody say to the artist, you've been out What's that? Everybody can see. The Bad Wolf Project. Former Labour MP Geoffrey Robinson, worth 30 million. Better than a kick in the nuts. Les Griffith says Andrew Lawrence isn't funny. Well, it's kind of, it pays your money and you takes your choice. It's like anybody. If you think they're not funny, don't go and see them. If you think they're funny, then go and see them. If you think they're funny again, or just using the same tour that they've been using for the last 3 or 4 years, don't go and see them. You know the script. MK Ultra, anybody? Could be, right? Definitely could be. Most of these court artists are terrible. Understatement of the night, Soul Rebel. And Gene Psychic says, not the same person. No, well, it wouldn't be, would it? We are only talking about the court artist. We're not talking about anything else, because I do support the process of law. But where did the hair come from? I mean, can I have some? I mean, maybe I need the same the same court artist, just to kind of like... so from what I can remember, he's kind of shaven-headed. He turns up at court and he's got a hairstyle like Jedward. Was it a wig? Did the court artist go to Turkey and think, oh yeah, I'll do the teeth, I'll do the ears, and I'll do the hair? Jedward, man, I'm telling you, they're going to make a comeback. So all I'm going to say to you, and I cannot say any more, Google John Paul Boyle. You can do it in Facebook if you want. I thought about friending him, but I thought, no, that puts me on radars. Bad Wolf Project says, can I give a shout out to the number 33? If you know, you know. So we can do numerology to do with Liverpool. 33 seemingly is the number of vertebrae that you have. It's some people think that it's the highest rank within Freemasonry, and that's not true. And the number 33 has certain connotations. You ask Nikola Tesla, 3, 6, and 9. They're the numerology of the universe. Stephen Hall says, Andrew Lawrence does great impressions of Starmer and the police. Hello, my name's David. Gene Psychic 33. I got it. Yeah, Kundalini energy. 33 vertebrae. Every human has 33 vertebrae. Order. And it's so they use the number 33 all over, and it was on the door of the police van. 2 letters and then 33. So a lot of people say, oh, you see the number 33. Now, the reason why I mentioned all of that is because, and somebody else says, whom I trust implicitly, they've said, Ia, have you seen the Fast and the Furious? I said, no, I kind of saw the first one, but then I went off them. And they said, have you seen the Fast and the Furious with The Rock in it? No. Well, The Rock in the Fast and the Furious, his character name was Paul Doyle. And the Fast and the Furious, including The Rock, did some shooting around Water Street and that area in Liverpool. I mean, that's some coincidence, but it is fact. It is fact. I mean, you can join the dots in any way, any which way you like, but Overflow Room, number 33 for the press. It's almost, Stephen Hall says, all symbols and numbers. Thank you, Bad Wolf Project. And Burlington Birdie, 33, the amount of U-turns between the last Conservative government and this current shower. So you've got these coincidences. And again, we're talking in general terms. We're not talking about the case specifics. We're talking about how, and I started this off by saying we're degenerates. We don't believe what we see. We don't believe what we're fed in many different areas of life, mainly the mainstream media, but we don't believe it. And we're talking about coincidences around the Liverpool incident, but not the Liverpool case specifically. Because that would be sub judice, and I acknowledge the sub judice of it all. But it is interesting that it happened on a bank holiday Monday, and Starmer was struggling. Let's get to Starmer. He was struggling. He was struggling with these with his Fun Boy 3 and the Pet Shop Boys. The Bad Wolf Project, the 33 degree, known as the Sovereign Grand Inspector General, is awarded to members who have shown significant commitment and service to Freemasonry. Still not the highest degree in Freemasonry. And it's the Scottish Rite in America. And you know what the Scottish Rite ends with? Knight Templar. So there is a 33rd degree in this country. And it is everywhere, but it's not necessarily the highest rank in Freemasonry. Les Griffiths, perfect. Critical thinking, not degeneracy. Jackie Glasky, Smoke and Mirrors. Nicholas, 369, the goose drank wine, the monkey chewed tobacco on the streetcar line, the line broke, the monkey got choked, and they all went to heaven in a little rowboat. Clap, clap. But look, the way that the mainstream media, it's probably the wrong way around. This is what the front of the Mail says today. David Cameron behaved like a big man baby. So that's somebody flogging a book. Day 2 of Sarah Vine's unflinching political memoir that left Westminster quaking in its boots. How do we in shite, man? It quakes in its boots when Nadine Dorries comes forward and says, anybody heard of Dougie Smith? Rishi Sunak's right-hand man. Can't go any further than that, but seemingly it's a real person. Rishi Sunak's right-hand man. Have you ever heard of Dougie Smith? No, me neither. I thought it was all cabinet ministers and secretaries, seemingly. But now, front page of the Mail. Is this a story or not? British dad spying for China seized in FBI sting. So, the Chinese are at it again. So there you go. Fun Boy 3, not in the press anymore. And this is how they deal with it. They make sure that someone's arrested. By the time someone's arrested, Melvin P says, you're forgetting the Fabian Society. Thank you, Melvin. Fabian Society, they're all members. Got nothing to do with Freemasonry. It's all the Fabian Society. So, Mayor Carnage is in the Fabian Society, as is Storm, and others, other high-ranking Labour politicians. So, the Fabian Society, an interesting concept that would take a whole live to get into the weeds of. Wasn't Sarah Vine married to Michael Gove? Correct. Terry, I'm not sure who... well, he did act a bit strange, didn't he, when he was up in Scotland? Not quite sure what was going on there. I think it was probably strong coffee. Or not. Soul Rebel, when you say right-hand man... Coffee beans. The Bad Wolf Project and Momentum. Politics is infested with wrong uns. You are too right, Les. Too right. Yes, I've done that. Let's now talking about politics and wrong uns. Lord Ali's right hand. Yeah, want any coffee, Lord Ali? I'm going to ask you a question, because we haven't asked many questions tonight. I'm going to save some of those for tomorrow night's live, which starts at 7:30. And we'll do much of the same, but it'll be new for tomorrow night, because I do love doing my research. I'm going to ask you a question. 1 for yes, 2 for no. Hang on, Stuart. 5 5s are 25. I know I don't like using a calculator. Mental arithmetic is I'm really quick. 5 5s are 25. There you go. So many secret societies, says Stephen Hall. It began with a C. Ian. Phil Levan, the Gareth Hunt. There was something about about him, says Tom Harneys, and the Bad Wolf Project. Michael Gove nightclub in Aberdeen. Aberdeen's biggest export, oil. Riggers take it out the sea. The lap dancers slap it on, and then they take it out of the riggers. Anybody want to dance, Michael? So I'm going to ask you a question. 1 for yes, 2 for no. The question is this: are we heading for Farage versus Bourgeois the Clown? Going to ask you a question. Use your psychic abilities. Are we heading politically for Farage versus Bourgeois the Clown? 1 for yes, 2 for no. Stuart says 25. Ooh. Interesting. It's kind of 50-50 at the minute. I thought. So while you're voting, I'm going to offer you this. And there is a reason why I've asked the question. It's this. Look, Bojo the Clown had his moment. He's been mayor, he's been prime minister, he's got a few bob, he's got millions. Did he get that from his dad or did he get that from Sniffy? So, Bojo is done, no coming back, says Paul McCaughey. Bojo is damaged goods already, says the Wookfit. Who cares? Nothing will change, says Des Ashton. Alan, Bojo, the kiss of death. Well, let me just extrapolate this bit of information because it was a. Can you remember the death match between Rich Boy Sunak and Bojo the Clown? Can you remember the death match? So Bojo was trying to hang on for grim death, and Rich Boy was kind of like die, metaphorically, of course. Not accusing him of anything, but just politically getting rid of him. It's happened for hundreds of years, and that's politics. Les Griffiths, Bojo's dad should fight Jake Paul. He'd need to lose a shit ton of weight. Maybe he could use Ozempic. So it's, the answer is 33, the Uwe Buffalo. No, it's 42. Life, the Universe and Everything. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. What has happened to Stanley Johnson? He's probably made his money from HS2. And Andrew James says, is 33 also the same amount of Liverpool titles? Won't be far off, Andrew James. The reason I want to mention this is because it's controlled narrative. It's like a controlled opposition. So the rich boys can see that the Tory party is done. It's over. It's finished. A political party been around for over 200 years. And these clowns have killed it. Vanity. Bonfire of the Vanities. That's the word I was looking for. Melvin P says they're all actors regardless, and the agenda, it's digital. So let me give you this. They want to control the narrative, and they've used controlling the narrative before. Dominic Cummings, Michael Gove. They're not exactly liked in the Tory party, but if it gets them power, none of them like each other. They're like bloody solicitors. No solicitors like each other. They don't. Barristers, oi, they're even worse. Look at what we've got leading the country. And they create this narrative, and the narrative will be, I'm Bojo the Clown, and I will save the power for the Tory party. And the Tories will buy it because they're as thick as pig shit. Sorry, they shag pigs, so they're as thick as pig shit. So you've got... Somebody was talking about... no, don't, Adrian. Don't. We thought LIBOR was dead after Gormless Brown. No, they're still at it. So the Tories know that Kemi Not Good Enough is simply that. She's barely got a year left, unless... Because the polls have now got... Reform so far ahead, 360 odd seats. They've got the Tories down at 14 MPs. It's literally as dead as a bloody dodo. This parrot is no more. And the Tory party, the barons, the moneyed people are all saying, look, we need to do. Have we got anybody? Where's Streeting, Your Honour? What? No, he's as bad as Kemi Not Good Enough. Right, okay. Who? Now, they parachuted Rich Boy Sunak in because he lived in America, gave him Richmond, which was an absolute shoo-in for the Tory parties because he's got a shit ton of money. Like his missus and family are billionaires, multi-billionaires. Griffith says, after Boris's antics during lockdown, again, Foxtrot Oscar. But that's the feeling of the country, not the Tory party. Look, when they wanted Rich Boy Sunak as leader of the parliamentary Conservative Party, he went out against Liz Truss to the membership around the country, and the membership chose Liz Truss. Remember that? So the Tory party panicked. They knew they wanted him as a head boy, so to speak, and head boy would help them make a shit ton of money. Unless it's nearly £1 billion on PPE. That's still floating around, and nobody's answered anything for the PPE. I'll give you 2 words. Michelle Mone. So the Tory party are trying every which way to get power. This is all it's about. And the people in the shadows that manipulate all of this, and I take this, see how this sits with you, see how this lands with you, see if it fits. So the political parties accept reform. So you want to be an MP. You think you've got the intellect, you've got the rigour, you've got all the joie de vivre, you've got everything you need in French or in English. And you want to be, I don't know, an MP for Greens, Lib Dems, Tories, Labour. Well, the first thing you've got to do is the people already in the party making the decisions about what goes on in the party will not have anybody in the party that's going to queer their pitch. Pun intended. So what they'll do is they'll have, like, I don't know, 10 candidates for a particular area. And they'll go, obviously the high Hegians, they're sitting up in the shadows, they make all the decisions. Look, if we have Adrian Allen as a Tory MP or as a Labour MP, is he going to cough? Is he going to get into the portcullis house WhatsApp groups and find out that they're all shagging each other and ordering pizza? You know what I'm talking about. So they'll go, well, if he comes in, we can't really trust him. He might be straight up and down, but can we manipulate him? Can we go, oh, we've got something on you. Did you shag a pig once? No, I just put me in pig's mouth. It was kind of an initiation ceremony. Right, that's all right. Do you want that? Do you want your wife knowing? Do you want the people that watch the Theatre of the Mind? Do you want them knowing that you stuck your schmeckle in a pig's gob? No. He's controllable. But if Adrian Allen, the true Adrian Allen, goes in and goes, you bunch of deviant bears, leak it to the press, the Tory party's over. They don't want that. They want somebody that they can control. So whatever they've got, like the WEF, whatever they've got on Keir Starmer, they're controlling him very, very well, manipulated. And just as a little aside, tomorrow night on the live, I said to you a few weeks ago, keep an eye on Australia and Canada. So why would the king be in Canada? It's coming tomorrow night on the live. Not doing it now. I'm going to do it tomorrow night on the live. You're going to want to be there. Trust me. So they will only allow anyone into their party, as in political party, that'll do as they're told, that will keep them in power, as in the WhatsApp groups in Portcullis House. And if anybody has to resign or decides to retire from politics, just ask the question, what the bloody hell's going on there? I mean, can you not remember there was an MP, a minister, who she was on Question Time on Thursday night. Friday afternoon, she's decided that she doesn't want to be in British politics anymore and she's going to join her husband who lives in America. And roughly about the same time, there was word that two married ministers, male and female, were having an affair. Now, I'm not suggesting anything nefarious here, but it's awfully convenient that there were rumours, and these rumours have never been seen again. The mainstream media didn't do anything about it. Absolutely nothing. But there's a couple having it away, and the male and female, and just disappeared. It just disappeared. But at the same time, there was a female that buggered off to America to spend time with her rock star husband. Rusty's Roaming says, China are worrying Australia at present, very worrying. They're worrying Taiwan. I mean, it's always been on the cards because China has always wanted Taiwan, strategically and politically. Hang on. Oh, Andrew James. Burlington Bertie. Yeah, I'm kind of legally, I'm going through all this. Working out, it must be a full moon. Trying to work out whether I can say anything more. Brilliant, Terry. Right, I'll leave you to it. I'll send the lube. So politics is all about this, and view politics through this prism. If they're controllable, they will be given high office. If they're not controllable, they won't even make front bench. And that's them being controlled so long as they do as they are told, because they want me and you, the cash cows, to shut the fuck up, get out of work, and give us your national insurance and your taxes on the taxes, and your taxes on the taxes on the taxes, and your taxes on the taxes on the taxes on the fucking taxes. Shut up! What do you mean you're rebelling? How very dare you? Shut the fuck up! Because me and the lads and the girls, because there's some deviants in there as well. Me and we just want your money. Just shut the fuck up. Your national insurance, man. It pays for the NHS. Just pay us your taxes. We don't care. Oh, we're going to give $1.5 billion to this and to the NHS, and we're going to do that, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do. Has anybody actually seen how much money they're using? Has anybody actually seen the accounts for the government? Don't be stupid, because then the game's up. Because then they can't launder money in Ukraine. They can't launder money outside of the country. That is the game. Launder the money that me and you pay in taxes and national insurance, and taxes on the tax, and taxes on the taxes on the tax, and taxes on the taxes on the taxes on the tax. That is how they make the money, and then spunk it somewhere else, and it comes back to them. That is politics in a nutshell. It's not for your benefit. It's not for my benefit. It's not for your family's benefit. It's not for your community's benefit. It is for their benefit, and they're shafting you. Touch your fucking toes and shut the fuck up. Oh yeah, Garen, thank you. How about your tax? Sorry, how about your bath tax? We'll be throwing the baby out with the bathwater, because you know how that started, don't you? Look, we've only had hot water for the last 50 years. Our heritage, our people, those that have gone before us for generations and generations and generations, had to either boil water or have a cold shower or a cold bath. And Daddy got first dibs. Mummy poured the bath, Daddy got in, first dibs, and then it was Mummy got second dibs, whilst Daddy was looking after the kids, and then the kids went in, and then that's why they used the term throwing baby out with the bathwater, because Babby got it last. Wipe all of its shit off its arse. So you've got, Alan says, bath tax. Oh yeah, so it's fear porn. It's fear porn. So they're talking about, how many windows have you got in your house? They've done this before, by the way. It was like Margaret Thatcher and the poll tax. They just changed the name of it because everybody kicked off with Thatcher and the poll tax. It's the poll tax what did for Thatcher. So now they're talking about, oh yeah, if you've got a bath, we're going to tax you. If you've got windows, we're going to tax you. And if you've got hot water, then we're going to make you buy a pump that's shit, that's going to be more expensive. And now that fucking moron of a clown of a man that used to lead the Labour Party, he makes me fucking angry. That man millipeed. So we're going to charge you 15% extra. We know where the money's going, you errant twat. We know where it's going, in your fucking trouser pocket, or somebody in the shadows that's manipulating all the little puppets, the weft puppets. We're going to tell you what to say and how to say it. And what they're going to do, Net Zero is going to charge you 15% extra money. You utter bastards. And he's just doing it. Nobody's holding him to account. He'll get his ukulele out. I've heard it's small. You wouldn't get in, Alan. You're not coming in and using my bathwater, you're wronging. Sorry, your bathwater, you're wronging. See the emphasis on the wrong syllable? So this millipede is, they're talking about, and The best way to do all of this and to look at this is to look at, oh, thank you, Rich, or Michael Bentine's potty mouth time. You look at what's going on, and it has to be looked at backwards, in retrospect, because they will say, oh, we're going to do this, and everybody goes, oh, moral indignation. No, you can't do that. That's not for our benefit. You can't do that. And they go, oh, right, okay. We're going to take the winter fuel payment off the pensioners. Southport and all the shenanigans. Wow. I've just got to tell you what, as a little aside, what the Bad Wolf Project said. Search Jeremy Pocklington, as in the place in North Yorkshire. Jeremy Pocklington, British civil servant, CEO. UK Government Investments Limited, £33 billion in the account for net zero. There's that 33 again, Bad Wolf Project. Paulie Galtieri, they won't be happy until we're living in shit houses. Exactly. Whilst they're drinking champagne and living at large. They don't care about you and I. They literally, all they see us as is breeders and cannon fodder. And now Starmer wants to go to war? Here, mate. He's saying we have to, and I need to get this right. He said that we need to defend our country against our enemies. They're in the bloody Labour Party, mate. They're not outside of this country. You're giving them money. Us, they're in the Labour Party. That's our enemies. Because what are they doing? They're shafting us. We are breeders and merely cannon fodder. We always have been, we always will be, and that's what they want us to do. They want us to Foxtrot Oscar, do as we're told, shut the hook up. I did ask you a question, and this is really important, about Farage versus Bourgeois the Clown. So if you look at Nigel Farage, now, before you say anything, I'm not anti-reform, but I do treat politicians with suspicion. And as I have said before, and nobody has given me the answer to this, how much money did any politician make from shorting the NatWest stock? Just asking for a friend. So Farage, and I'm sure you will agree with this, Gene Psychic says, oh, nothing, eat bugs and you'll be happy. Unless, of course, there's the odd rug thrown in every now and again. Nigel Farage, you know he was a member of the Labour Party. He was a member of the Tory Party. Don't you remember that? Back in the day, back in the 80s? He wasn't an MP for them. But Nigel Farage, the most significant right-wing politician since Margaret Thatcher. There's the Donald. The Donald was a Democrat at one point before he ran for office. He was a Democrat. And then he just did it for publicity for his TV show, The Apprentice, thinking he would make a few more bob in his deal from the American networks. And all of a sudden, he finds out he's bloody president of the United States. It is the Truman Show. Definitely, definitely. Some people will say they're not mad on Farage, like Gene Psychic and others. But I will say this. And I'm sure you'll agree, as far as politics, the political spectrum goes, Farage is the most significant right-wing politician since Thatcher, unless you take on board Anthony Charles Linton Blair, because he was the most significant right-wing politician since Thatcher at that time in 97. But Nigel Farage left the Tory Party after the Tory Party dumped Margaret Thatcher. Oh, Margaret. 1922 committee. Oh, Margaret. It's time. Why don't you just golf? I mean, I hope that Rupert comes back and takes over Reform, to be honest, says Alan. Well, Farage steps away from the Tory Party. He then turns to the left and the Red Wall voters. If you look at what's been going on the last few days, Farage is flirting with the Labour voters. He's flirting with the North. He's flirting with my kind in Sunderland and Newcastle and the northeast of England, where there's no such thing as right-wing thugs with an F. When it comes out of Sir Keir Starmer's mouth, we know there's an agenda. We know that the mainstream media are propagating this agenda. So Farage is now turning left and fraternising, flirting with, teasing the Red Wall voters. Now, almost every policy that Nigel Farage has announced this week is like, for example, just off the top of my head, reinstating the winter fuel payments. He said that. Slashing the child benefit cap. He said that. Remember when he was being asked by the journalists who were there to try and trap him, and he was like, "Oh, you want that then? Here you go. Yeah, wrong." I mean, I would love for Farage to come out and say at one of his press conferences, "You utter wrong." It's all in the growl, Nigel, before you ask. He also wanted to raise the lowest income tax threshold. I think he said 20 grand, didn't he? And all of this is for the dole wallers, for those who don't want a child benefit cap because they're going to knock out a football team and make a few bob. The lowest income, they don't want the tax to kick in until 20 grand. It's meant to bribe the Red Wall. Now, he's just a politician. He's human. He's like them all. He just wants the power. When he's in power, I'm not suggesting this is so with Nigel, but if you look at the Tories for the last 14 years and what we've been through for nearly the last year with this lie-ball government where they've lied repeatedly about tons of stuff, they don't care about you. They don't care about your needs, your wants, your family, your community, or your country, for that matter. By the way, as a little aside, do you know how many people came across in the little boats from France yesterday? I was being told about 1,300, certainly over 1,000. Maybe they'll use 1,000 because it's a rounded up or down number and it's quite powerful. But I was hearing 1,300. Now, if that is so, on one day, how many bloody illegal, because let me qualify what I'm saying. When they come into this country, they do so illegally. That's why I can call them illegal immigrants. The legals, why don't they go to Gibraltar? Jesus, man, you can have a fucking holiday in Gibraltar. You can walk in, I'm claiming asylum, and you'll get a nice holiday. You'll become a UK citizen if you're there long enough, because Gibraltar is British. We own it. It's ours. Isn't that right, Charles the Weak? Isn't that right, Your Majesty? Gibraltar owns us. So why are they coming over to France? I mean, it was 36, 37 degrees the other day. Who'd want a Betty Swallock's kind of existence in France? They want to come to be more temperate? Really? But if you're a camel shagger, why don't you go to Gibraltar? Because it's warmer there and it's warmer in France. Why are you coming here? Because the Germans in 98 and 99 were saying to France and Britain, "Oh, Tony, man, Charles, Linton, Blair, you've got to take more. I know you're only doing 22, 23,000 a year, but Jesus, Reg D, 1,472 illegal immigrants yesterday come across on dinghies. Fuck me." So rebel. Irregulars, please, Adrian. No, it's irregular after I've had a curry. France, Paris was on fire with riots yesterday. Paris has fallen. Oh, good. It's good enough for them. They've got a bloke that, well, look at the bloke that's leading them. Or is he leading them? Or was he devoted? Is he Macron? Take that, you tart. Oh, missus. Oi, stop that. How do you know what he sounds like? He sounds like David Beckham. Oh, darling, why have you just slapped me on the nose? Because you've got fucking Charlie all over it. Sorry, Coca-Cola all over it, you wrong one. So it's like the RNLI should be fined for everyone they bring here, just like lorry drivers are. That's a brilliant idea, Les. Absolutely bob on. Because the poor lorry drivers, they don't even know that they're in the back of the truck. Backdoor merchants again. And the RNLI, oh, I tell you what, Royal Navy, shooting practice. What you need to do is put the boats in the channel and then make sure they don't get to this country. And if you miss one, you're getting fined. Can't have any of those big ships anymore because you'll lose so much fucking money. That's a great idea, Les. I will use that. And it's knocked me completely off my... So the illegals, and I qualified why I said they were illegals, because they come here illegally. They land, and seemingly we've got to give them some kind of succor. But we when they land, because of Europe, and look, Europe don't want you to know that we're in Europe. They want you to think that we're not in Europe, so they'll take all of our fish, thieving bastards, and they'll do all kinds of stuff. What they'll also do is they'll make us pay for it. So they want billions, billions, billions. Remember how politics works. Doesn't matter whether it's in the UK or whether it's the EU, that block of corruption that we call the EU. So we spunk billions towards them, and what do? They buy the Irish off, they build bridges, the tiger economy, they'll buy the Scandinavians off with bits and pieces. Oh, we'll build you a new bridge, might cost 2 billion, but don't worry, the British are going to spunk us 50 billion a year, so don't worry, we'll just take it out of that. And by the way, what happens to money when we send it abroad? Correct. It ends up in political back trouser pockets. And I've looked at Ursula von der Leyen, bitch, and she looks like somebody who would wear trousers. 7 kids. Jesus. Be like throwing fucking chipolata up the Mersey Tunnel. Les Griffith says, I live in a seaside town with a lifeboat station. Every shop had RNLI boxes on the counter, which had to be emptied every few days. Now, it is every couple of weeks. People are disgusted with them. People just vote with their feet. They just vote with their feet. Shops, Wicks, beer brands, Bud Light, they just go, okay, not a problem, lads. I'm not buying a Jaguar car anymore. What the are you doing with that? That's not for me. That's not my money. I'm not just gonna, I'd rather have a Bin Laden car, mate. So people just vote with their feet. But do you know something? If we're not doing as we are told, we'll go to war. Because then Starmer will go, oh, we've got enemies. So what we're going to do is we're going to spunk billions and billions. Have you noticed how it's billions now and not millions? Why is that? Is £1 million not enough now? The old Bovril. When a burglar breaks into your house, the crime is now irregular entry. Is that Starmer's house or our house? Because there's no irregular entry going on in my house. Look, in law, the bedroom is the most sacrosanct. In law, is the most sacrosanct room in the house. So if anybody breaks in, I'm going to deal with shit. I'm going to deal with it proportionately and appropriately. But I'll ring the police and say, I found a man in my bedroom. Don't know what he's doing there. He's got 2 arms and 2 legs broken. He looks like he's been beaten to a pulp. Not quite sure what with, because I don't know how he's got into my bedroom. And it gets to court and it's his word against mine. So how did you get into the bedroom? I didn't. What do you mean you didn't? How did you get into his house? Oh, I broke in. Was that a irregular entry, or were you trying to nick his vinyl collection? In law, the bedroom is the most sacrosanct room in the house. The Bad Wolf Project. Gibraltar offers major tax perks for company formation. Corporate tax is just 12.5%, and there's no VAT, no capital gains tax, no inheritance. Back soon, ordering a taxi to Gibraltar. Taxi! I'll just go and pack my case. Ah, yeah, but now we've said this, the Bad Wolf Project. We've now got a whole of illegals landing on Gibraltar. I'm just hoping they're not IRA terrorists. If you know, you know. If a burglar is halfway through your window and you attack him, you are liable to arrest because he wasn't fully inside. I saw that happen when I lived in West Yorkshire. Les, who's going to say that somebody breaking into my house was halfway through the window? I am sure they put a caveat in law that you are allowed proportionate and appropriately to defend your own home without being prosecuted. But if it's my word against his, the first question out of my brief's mouth will be, what were you doing? Trying to get in? What were you doing that for? Oh, I was a bit drunk. Oh, well, schoolboy error. And is your wounds healing yet? So how did you get into the house? This bad man, he decided to show me the error of my ways. Tony Martin. Fred Barris is not going to go thieving anymore, is he? Fact. Terry Wookford, you have to use minimum force. You can't attack burglars. They have to attack you first. It's called minimum force and proportionate response. I know, Terry, but it's his word against mine. I'm living in my house, a peaceable citizen, law-abiding, straight up and down. And they're going to tell me, oh, he did it illegal. I didn't do anything illegal. He started hitting himself. I tried to stop him, but I didn't know why he was in my house, Your Honour. What was he doing in your house, Mr. Allen? I've no bloody clue. That's why I'm in court. I want you to decide what's going on with this errant little miscreant. Shoplifting now is to be called irregular shopping. Oh, no, that's irregular shopping is when I go out and my bloody card gets pinged. Oh, no, it's been declined, Mr. Allen. Oh, what again? Jesus, it's death by credit card. What is proportionate? Well, there's a good question, Les. What is proportionate? That's down to the bent CPS. And you know who used to be Director of Public Prosecutions? Correct. He loves telling us. I don't know why he keeps telling us, because we're sick and tired of hearing that his dad was a toolmaker, his mother worked for the NHS, he went to a state school, and now he wants to shaft all the working classes. Go off, mate. We're coming for you at the ballot box. We're not mucking about. You're gone. The quickest way we can get rid of the Labour Party is at the ballot box. They know it's coming. They know they're finished. They're going to grift and make money as much as they can. But I am telling you now, we have absolutely seen through these illegal feckers. So, was there anything else? Yeah, there was a few things. I just want to put this on your radar. You know, I like doing this. In fact, let me see if we can. No, I want to see if we can do tomorrow's news today. Do you know, when I want to do it, they never get on time. These mob it. Let's have a go. Another one. What the bloody hell? There is something that I want to put on your... So a minister has said Britain has lost control of its borders. No shit, Sherlock. Hasn't taken a man with a high IQ to work that one out. Right. Ah, there we go. Oh, no, it's not. Oh, shite, man. I'll leave it there while I do this. I want to put this on your radar because it is Bad Wolf Project. I have plenty of those. 6 rifle. Never mind the Rottweiler. Watch out for my missus, says Alan. Brilliant. Plant or stupid? Maybe, Melville. Keir Starmer. I saw that the other day. That was a very, very funny gag. Terry Wookford. No doubt they are all registered. You need something that isn't recorded. Knives are always a good... I cannot promote nor condone whatever you do. I have said all the way through this live this evening, I would have a quiet word in somebody's shell like, and I would be proportionate and appropriate. But I've also given you the legal angle as to what you can and can't do. So, over the next 10 to 15 years, not only will you own nothing and be happy, according to Klaus Schwab, have you noticed how the new boy has? This is my take on it. When you have Klaus Schwab popping up every now and again, going, "Hello, I'm evil and I'm still here," and then all of a sudden somebody stands up and goes, oi, 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 mate, Foxtrot Oscar, we've had enough of you, straight after WEF this year, and we've got a new boy coming in. He's probably as evil as you, but we'll wait and see. The judges are out, so to speak. Not out. That would make headlines. But we're going to wait and see what is going on. And now Klaus is no more. Has he died? Is he dead? Has he had a heart attack? Is he stiff? See what I did there? If you know, you know. The central bank digital currency. I keep telling you, there's 6 countries left. And then the Rothschilds own all the central banks around the globe. That's the Earth. That means that nobody from Mars or Uranus, see what I did there, can come and attack us. Maybe that's what Sir Keir Starmer's talking about. We're going to get an attack from Uranus. And he's saying we're gonna have to attack our enemies. What? Uranus again? Bloody hell, man, Keir. Touch your toes. Better use lube. You know what these aliens are like. So central bank digital currency. The central banks own, the Rothschild central bank system owns all the central banks apart from North Korea, China, Russia. Interesting. Seemingly, North Korea is having a bit of a to-do with South Korea at the moment. So it might all kick off. It's all about Taiwan. North Korea's not far away. And China's like, oh, right, lads, can we have Taiwan, please? No, you can't. Well, we're the West. You can't have Taiwan. Well, look, Britain's given Mauritius the Chagos Islands and paying them billions of pounds a year. So why can't we have Taiwan? That's different, man. We're corrupt, so we're giving money. You don't need money. You've just found all this tons of gold. You don't need money, and you're getting the Chagos Islands through Mauritius anyway. So you're getting them. So no, you can't have Taiwan. Oh, go on, lads. You know, we'll give you some of your debt back. Melvin P says, XRP, XLM, buy it now. That's your CBDC, which we will get to, Melvin P. But you forgot HBAR, because they're all Ripple digital coins. And people who watch the channel regularly, these lives, know that I've been talking about it for quite a while. But Melvin, good to have you in the body of the Kirk, somebody that switched on to central bank digital currencies. But the Rothschilds, they just need Venezuela, Iran, Hungary, Syria, kind of got Syria now, China, North Korea, and Russia. So there's 7 central banks that they want control of. Look what they did to Syria. They'll get Venezuela, Hungary, I'm not so sure about, but North Korea, how are they going to square that one? And Russia, until Putin's gone. And then they've got Xi Jinping in China saying, right, lads, we're going to have Taiwan. Right, start war with China, mobilize the Chinese, and we'll get the Chinese central bank. Because that's the game over the next few decades. There's only 7 left. They've got Syria. They just need the rest. Once they've got the rest, they've got control of mankind. Control the money flow, they've got control of mankind. But central bank digital currencies, Bank of England's got one. Didn't you know that? Oh, by the way, the Bank of England isn't owned by the government. The Bank of England is an independent company. The EU has a central bank digital currency. I mean, it's Hitler's plan. Hitler's plan was to make the whole of Europe into smaller bite size. Now, in the northeast of England, where I'm from and understand a little better than most, they tried to create and had a vote on a regional government, if you want, for want of a better term. And the chambers of that government were already created in Durham, and they put it to the vote, and the fucking people of the northeast, how very dare they? They turned around and said, Foxtrot Oscar, we're not interested. That's what Hitler wanted. He wanted regional control for the whole of Europe. Now, if you understand this, we had our relatives fight to repel fascism, or fascism of sort, because there's fascism today, but it's a left wing. It's communism, it's socialism, it's Marxism, it's any other ism you want to name. But the deal is, it's me and you, touch your toes, we're not going to use lube. And then you've got EU going, yeah. We're just going to regionalise everything, and we're going to take the borders away, and we're going to take everybody's central bank, and we're going to have our own EU central bank digital currency. They've been at this since World War II. Don't think that another 20, 30, 40, 50 years is going to make any difference to them. If you look at Edward Heath, God, what a swimmer he was. Edward Heath. You know why he became Prime Minister? Because the people in the shadows had something on him that made him do as he was told. Oh, I wonder what that is. Swim for that then, you're wrong. They had it on Edward Heath. And that didn't come out, did it? Not even out. He was vile and evil. But what he also did was, he said to us, oh, we're going to go into the common market. Notice how it's in language. We're going to go into the common market. We've gone from pennies and pounds. We're going to go into decimal currency. What was that? I mean, all the old ones were like, how many pennies to the... and what? And how many sixpences to that in a pound? And the money over the last 70, 80 years has been devalued so that you can't buy anything of any great worth with cash. Because they don't want you to use it. They've been at it since the Second World War. And then Heath gets power in the 70s. Oh, yeah. Anybody want to come out sailing with me on Morning Cloud? No, I bloody don't. Edward Heath did their bidding. The puppet masters in the shadows. Why did he do their bidding? Because they knew what he was up to. As I've said to you before, and I'll leave it here and then move on. He liked swimmers. So can you remember when we were queuing? Free butter, free milk, free this. And everybody's like, whoa, it's brilliant being in the EU. It's wonderful. We're getting all this free stuff whilst they were devaluing the pound. So that's what they're going to do. I think I'm going to leave this for tomorrow night. I'm going to... I have got something about... bring your best rock star with you tomorrow night, 7:30. Bring your best rock star. I can't tell you why. Andrew James, CBDC scares my wife. You've just got to... Before I get the rock star stuff, I'll answer Andrew. The problem with crypto or central bank digital currencies is nobody understands it except the bankers. Remember in 2008, the world bailed the banks out because not only were we going to go into recession, we were going to go into a depression that was going to be worse than the 1930s around the world. And the governments around the world bailed the banks out. Thieving bastards. So the banks can do whatever they want. They launder money. They're as crooked as governments. They launder money. They give money to governments and it ends up in politicians' back pockets as well as the banks. So what they've done, they've created this system called crypto. And in the early days when Bitcoin was, I think it was about £1,200 per Bitcoin. And they were saying, run from it, run from it. It's just gangsters and OCGs and bit nasty people that deal with it. If you buy Bitcoin, then you will end up bankrupt because the crime gangs will nick your Bitcoin. And everybody was like, oh, no, I'm not going to buy Bitcoin. Bitcoin was, the last time I looked, $108,000 per Bitcoin. So if you bought it at 1,200, you'd be almost 100 times. Is my maths correct? 100 times what you'd invested. And if you bought a couple of them, that's generational wealth. Well, 300 grand, maybe. But so what they do is they want to put barriers to entry for you. So you don't understand it. You don't understand how to deal with things. You don't know about exchanges. They're now worrying everybody about the exchanges being hacked. But there's ways and means. But it's the kids, the teenagers and 20-somethings who've been looking at this for 10 years. They know exactly what they're doing. Some of them, I mean, I saw a video the other day of somebody with a Rolls Royce standing outside their house. And this woman, this Karen, knocked on her door and saying, how comes you've got a Rolls Royce outside your house? What are you up to? You an OCG? What are you doing? You flogging drugs? And he's like, no, got nothing to do with you. I'm a legitimate businessman. A 20-year-old. Correct. Because these kids have been brought up to it. So there's no barrier to them getting involved in this. The only barrier is the banks. The banks don't want you to make any money. So, you know, Klaus, once you're eating bugs, you'll own nothing but be happy. They don't want you having digital currency under any way, shape or form. That's what they're doing. And the problem is, I mean, I would love you to have generational wealth. I would love you to pass it on to your children or your siblings and or your grandchildren. But I'm not a professional money advisor, so I can't. That's one of the rules of YouTube. If I do that, then I could lose the channel. So I'm not going to. But just remember, they are trying to scare you, fear porn. They're trying to scare you into compliance. They don't want you buying any cryptocurrency because they want you compliant. They want you to pay your taxes. You're just breeders, man. They just think that you're shit to be abused and manipulated. They think you're malleable and compliant. Just do as you're told. And loads of other... I wish that we had some kind of alignment with other people who were telling you exactly the same message. But there's not. People are now saying, oh, YouTubers are being arrested. I feel sorry for them. And I do have a trick up my sleeve with a friend that has written a book about law and broadcast. I'm going to try and get them on because thank you to the anonymous person that sent me the email earlier. Have you seen this? So I looked at it and I said, I hate to tell you this, but that's why they're getting arrested. It's not big and it's not clever. I'm not suggesting I'm perfect. I'm not even suggesting that I know what I'm doing. I'm just a daft lad getting away with it. But just remember, they want you to be compliant. I don't. I don't even want you awake. I want you aligned. I want you aligned to this community. If you have other critical thinkers that you know or have conversations with, like somebody close to me had a conversation with one of their work colleagues, and the work colleague's partner loves all this kind of information and said, why don't you watch Adrian on a Sunday and a Wednesday? And they've had a quick look going, ooh, blimey, yeah, yes, please. So it's not about waking anybody up. They're not awake. They're the ones that took the jab without doing their own research. They're the ones that didn't stand up to the system. And you didn't have to make a kick and fling about it. You didn't have to make a song and dance about it. All you had to do was just do what you did. As Gandhi said, be the change that you want to see in the world. So, again, all I'm asking is, if you know anybody that's aligned with our thinking, let them know. Let them know this channel's here. I will tell you just before I finish that I've agreed and I'm very honoured by this. I'm not going to give you the name just yet, but I've agreed to do an interview with someone that I'm really honoured to be doing the interview with. More will become clearer as the days go on, but I'm very much looking forward to it. We were trying to arrange the logistics. The yes has happened. It's just the how now. Oh, blimey. We're back at the start of the beginning. How long we've been going? Jesus. So we'll leave it at that for tonight. We're 7:30 again Monday evening. We'll do it all again with different information, with the same clarity, cutting through the fog of war. And if you know anybody that wants to take an hour or 90 minutes and just learn a little bit about the stuff in the background, and please let them know about the channel and the timings of the lives. Sunday, Monday, possibly Tuesday and or Wednesday. So thank you for your likes. Smash the likes on your way out, you're wrongin'. Thank you for your likes, your subscriptions, but most of all, your indulgence. Thank you for the support from those that have supported the channel this evening. Who said that? Was that Les? Unless critical thinking leads to critical action, it's like pishing into the wind. I get it, Les, but you know something? If I'll kind of use this analogy. An army of sheep led by a lion will infinitely defeat an army of lions led by a sheep. So all we need to do is we just need to align. And if we're aligned, then we mobilize quickly. Always remember that. So thank you for all your very kind words all the way through the live. I shall see you Monday night, 7:30. I've got more than I want to talk to you about. New stuff and interesting stuff, and the usual take on what's happening in the world. Keep an eye on Starmer. He wants to take your kids to war, not his own, your kids. He'll absolutely deny wanting to put his son's boots on the ground and fight our enemies. No integrity. My name's Adrian Allen. Thank you for your likes, your subscriptions, but most of all, your indulgence. Whatever you do, wherever you go, be safe, be well, and don't forget the Battenberg. See you tomorrow, technically, 7:30, Monday night.